If you like the story, you can support the author on Patreon. Link is in the description. Additionally, if you would like to request novels and access my Google Drive where I have 200 plus audiobooks, then you can join my Patreon. Link is also provided in the description.
Chapter 201. No way. Sengoku got headshot. Is this a dream? The Straw Hat Kid was punched through the chest by Sengoku, and he can still fight back and kill Sengoku. It's terrible. This is the battle between the strong. As long as one negligence, he will lose his life. Another negligence, you can counter the opponent back before dying. Isn't Fleet Admiral Sengoku's death too sudden? Where is the wrong? Do you really think that Straw Hat Kid is made of mud? Look at the strength of his crew. He is the captain of such monster crew, of course he would have the strength to fight Fleet Admiral. Sure enough, the old saying, the battle of the strong is often over in an instant. Fleet Admiral Sengoku. Vice Admiral Tsuru's old face was terrified, staring at Sengoku's face. Is it over? When she saw the situation of Sengoku thoroughly, Vice Admiral Tsuru's heart suddenly became cold. How can it be? Vice Admiral Jun is also numb. No one could have imagined that the progress of the matter would be so abrupt. But the next moment... Ah! Sengoku in the form of the Golden Buddha grabbed Luffy's arm with both hands and roared in pain. Nani? How come he is still alive? Hey, hello. Do you really want the Fleet Admiral to die? Ah. No, I mean, it's not outrageous that he is fine with his head blown off. This, outrageous, really outrageous. The marine soldiers around looked at Sengoku, who was still able to operate, and all of them felt that their brain power was not enough. From this angle, Luffy's arms have already mudded your brain, right? With paste in the head, can people still move autonomously? Take your hand out of my eyes. Sengoku howled in pain, and then resorted to the power of a Buddha, struggling to pull out Luffy's two arms. Boo! Boo! Finally, under Sengoku's desperate efforts, Luffy's two elongated arms were pulled out of the hole like two water snakes. And Sengoku's two eyeballs also fell out together. Sengoku almost subconsciously reached out to catch his eyeballs, and then hastily stuffed them back. Who underscore? Sengoku let out a long sigh of relief when he found that he could still see. However, this scene. The people at the scene were frightened and stupid. Absolutely hell today. First, they saw that the person whose head was blown off can still move. Now they see this guy's eyeballs falling out, can they be put back? And looking at him, it seems that he has not lost his eyesight. A marine shouted, I understand. This must be the ability of the mythical Zoan fruit, the Buddha form, right? It's too strong, as expected of Fleet Admiral Sengoku. The recovery ability is too heaven-defying. As soon as he shouted, some people who suddenly realized it immediately shouted, I know. After the awakening of the Zoan ability user, the life recovery ability will increase to another level. Fleet Admiral Sengoku is a mythical Zoan and he is also in a great Buddha form, his recovery ability must be stronger. Case solved. Fleet Admiral Sengoku is too strong. As expected of being the one who dominated the old days, talk about one of the several powerhouses. Fleet Admiral Sengoku's recovery ability is so strong, but the Straw Hat Boy is not sure. His chest has been punched through by Fleet Admiral Sengoku. Although he didn't die immediately, he should be soon, right? That's right. The battle is over. Ah ha 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 ha. Ah ha 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 ha. Luffy withdrew his hands, still laughing cheerfully. And when Sengoku grabbed his own fist, Sengoku's arm is pulled out from Luffy's chest. Luffy's chest is like rubber, instantly refilling. Se. Hey? Damn it. Am I dazzled? Why is the penetrating wound on the chest of the Straw Hat Boy completely healed? This is too shocking. Damn it. Straw Hat Luffy, what exactly are your abilities? How are you doing this? Sengoku rubbed his own eyeballs. Although he wasn't blind, the foreign body sensation from being punched in his eyes was extremely clear. Let's put it this way. Except that the eyes are not blind, the other feelings are exactly the same as being directly punched through the eyes by someone. Who would be uncomfortable by this? Ah ha ha ha. Ah ha ha ha. I'm not here to talk to you about this, I'm going to save Ace. While speaking, Luffy extended his hands again. This time, instead of heading towards Sengoku, he turned a corner, bypassed Sengoku, and ran towards Ace next to him. Woo, I can't let you succeed. In the distance, Kizaru saw this scene and raised his hand. A laser beam shot precisely at Luffy. Boom! But the laser beam exploded less than a meter away from Kizaru. That was an invisible energy barrier, directly cutting off the laser beam's route. Number. Kizaru curled his lips, turned to look at Logan. Ah, you are really a reliable crewmate. Logan spread his hands. Don't underestimate me. If I let you intervene in our captain's battle while I'm here, then I'm too incompetent as a deputy captain, right? Can one person be sure to completely contain me? Kizaru pouted his thick lips. You young man, you are really arrogant. The other side. Sengoku saw that Luffy started to rescue Ace, so it was impossible for him to succeed as long as he is here. Don't try to succeed. Sengoku was suspended in the air with a loud sound. Rushing to bottom is a punch. This punch, with resentment towards Luffy, and hatred towards Ace's bloodline. The golden Buddha light exploded from his fist. Rumble. Terrible fluctuations appeared out of thin air, causing the sky above the execution platform to suddenly fall into a boundless coercion. The space then oscillated, and there were layers of ripples. Luffy suddenly frowned. He realized that the shock wave of Sengoku's punch was going to smash the execution platform together. Ace can't use his ability at this time, it's like falling from such a high place, it's absolutely terrible. What's more, there are so many marine soldiers waiting below, once Ace falls and has no strength to fight back, wouldn't he become a living target? Luffy doesn't care so much anymore, even if he take on Sengoku's Buddha light shock wave, he must immediately save Ace. Both hands grabbed Ace's shoulders instantly. Whoosh! With Luffy's arm retracted, Ace was pulled to Luffy's side. And at this time, boom! The shock wave of the Buddha's light above crashed down. No, jump Luffy! Ace looked at this scene. If the shock wave that fills the sky is blasted down, even if Luffy don't die, he will be heavily damaged. At this moment, he stepped on the ground, and the side effects from the Dragon Slayer magic had disappeared. Although the sea stone handcuffs are still in hand, the fire dragon magic can already be used. He was about to pull Luffy to jump down, but found that he couldn't pull Luffy. Luffy! Ace is fascinated. What's the situation? He saved me, why don't he leave? Then he heard Luffy's voice in his ears. Wait, Ace. I still have to save the execution platform. Nanny? For a moment, Ace was really stupid. Rescue the execution platform? Is he still out of his mind? Why, he planned to keep it as a souvenir for Ace. Without time to explain to Ace, the awakening ability of Luffy's Nika form instantly extended to the execution platform. Boom! When the powerful energy of the Buddha light shockwave hit the execution platform was like a piece of extremely tough rubber, which was immediately compressed downward. Then bang! The incomparably majestic shockwave of the Buddha's light directly hit the sky in the rebound of the execution platform. Ah! Sengoku was caught off guard. He didn't expect that the Buddha light shockwave he sent could return the same way. Suddenly, he couldn't dodge it in time, and was overturned by the Buddha light shockwave. Dun! Dong! Dong! After the execution platform bounced back, it shook a few more times before it completely calmed down. Ahaha! Fortunately, the execution platform was not destroyed, otherwise Logan would blame me. After saving the execution platform and finding that there was no major problem, Luffy smiled honestly. Before this battle came, Logan specially warned Luffy. On the basis of ensuring the safety of Ace, it is best to keep the execution platform, it has a great use. Although Luffy didn't know what Logan wanted the execution platform for, but he knew that since Logan proposed it, it must have a special meaning. For Luffy, he promised Logan that he would definitely keep the execution platform. Now that the execution platform was saved, Luffy also smiled happily. Ace is self-reliant here, he pickpocketed the pants of the two executioners, and finally found the key to the sea stone handcuffs. Click! Sea stone handcuffs fell to the ground, free. Luffy, let's go. As soon as Ace grabbed Luffy, he jumped down. Rumble. Fire. It's like a firestorm rising from the ground, sweeping around, forming a fire channel. The two followed the fire channel to the ground. Boom! The fire exploded in the crowd of marine soldiers. This scene immediately pushed the war to the top. Rescued. Okay. Ace, quickly retreat this way. Let's back up. Attack with full strength, escorted Ace and Luffy of Straw Hats. For Ace. For Pop. Everyone, let's do this. For a moment, all the pirates in the Whitebeard Pirates were high on adrenaline. Chapter 202. Don't let them go. Seeing this, Sengoku shouted loudly, "Stop the Straw Hat Luffy at all costs." What? Listening to what Sengoku is targeting at this time, many people are all stunned. Isn't the bloodline of the Pirate King Roger to be executed? Why is it now the Straw Hat Luffy? Hey! Is Sengoku out of his head? Shouldn't he stop Fire Fist Ace at all costs? That's right, this Straw Hat boy is not the blood of Pirate King, why did he want to catch him again? And from Sengoku's point of view, it seems that this Straw Hat boy must die. Seeing the changing situation on the battlefield, the people who watch can't hold back anymore. What the hell is this? What happened? Why did Sengoku order you to be arrested at all costs? Ace, who got his freedom, was about to have a big fight, but was confused by Sengoku's words. Why is he targeting my brother all of a sudden? Is my Pirate King heritage not good enough? Hey? Catch me! Hearing this, Luffy tilted his head, didn't seem to get the point, and replied indiscriminately, "I saved you, of course he wants to catch me." Ace rolled his eyes. How did he forget? His brother is an idiot. Ace resolutely gave up the idea of finding answers from Luffy, and he was keenly aware that things had changed. Although he don't know what caused it, but one thing Ace is sure about at the moment is that at this time, Luffy is the one who needs to be protected the most. Luffy, go! Without too much hesitation, Ace immediately pulled Luffy and ran towards Crescent Harbor. Yata no Kagami. Kizaru folded his hands up and down, emitting a golden path of light. This light path scrambles and bounces everywhere on the ground, rocks, ice, ruins, etc. of the battlefield. After many times in a row, they suddenly went straight in front of Luffy and Ace. But the light path just shot out for a moment, and it directly hit an invisible barrier, and was bounced back after a swipe. Woo, it's really airtight defense. With a surprised grin at the corner of his mouth, Kizaru looked at Logan and scratched his head. Logan pouted at Kizaru, the fluctuation of the shield in his hand was faintly visible, and then said, "Even if you risk your life, Sengoku won't give you money, what are you doing?" Kizaru grinned. What Logan said makes sense. But he can't just stare at him like this, can he? He have to move his hands, meaning. For sure, Kizaru couldn't say it out of his mouth, he had to think about it in his heart. Stop talking nonsense. I am Marine Admiral, and I represent justice and will destroy you pirates. Smiling in his heart, but speaking with righteous words, Kizaru turned into a stream of light when he moved, and approached Logan. Hee hee. Logan secretly laughed inwardly. Boom. Bang bang. The two figures scurried around like rays of light, hitting each other from time to time, but bouncing away tacitly. After counting the seconds in their hearts several times, repeat the above steps. What the hell is Sengoku doing? Whitebeard punched Akainu away, his old face was full of bewilderment. My Ace is not popular in his eyes anymore? Old man, you don't have time to care about others. Sakazuki leaned forward again, his arms turned into magma and blasted towards Whitebeard. Whitebeard throws up his hands. Boom. Vibration and fierce collision of magma. Taking advantage of the collision and their respective rebounds, Whitebeard turned his attention to Ace and Luffy again. In fact, with the strength of Ace and Luffy, it is completely enough to protect themselves. But Whitebeard, as Ace's father, can't help but care about Ace's safety. However, dog-biting Crimson Lotus. __. Accompanied by Sakazuki's low cry, the lava that billowed and exploded suddenly transformed twice. From the power of the explosion, a lava dog head suddenly drilled out. This lava dog head is different from the Fang Red Lotus. Compared to the fierceness of the Fang Red Lotus, this lava dog head is much smaller. It's just that, although the dog's head is small, it is full of sinister aura. The dog's mouth was open, and the sharp dog teeth stretched out in a foul posture, as if they were two wild boar's tusks. Although the fangs are small in scale, they are better to be a surprise attacks. And it is hidden in the aftermath of the attack to carry out a second sneak attack. Just as Whitebeard shifted his attention to Ace at this time, he suddenly felt his mouth stagnate, the injury flared up, and a mouthful blood rushed towards his mouth. This is the moment. Observation Haki strong warning. Danger! Danger! He quickly turned his attention back to Akainu, but was a bit late. Boom! The fangs bit Whitebeard's face directly. Even though Whitebeard did the fastest evasion, he still got a damage. After all, he is really old. And seriously injured. Dog bite tore through Whitebeard's left cheek, taking a chunk of charred flesh, and an entire ear. Although half of the face was not directly destroyed like in the original plot, the injury should not be underestimated. Definitely has a big impact on Whitebeard's combat effectiveness. Ah! Akainu, you boy! Because of a momentary negligence, Whitebeard was seriously injured, and he is furious. He raged and hit Sakazuki directly on the head. Boom! Dash! The powerful shock exploded on Sakazuki's head, directly giving Sakazuki's brain damage. With a snap, blood flowed from Akainu's head, and after the power of Whitebeard's punch, he was directly blasted to the ground. Not only that. When Whitebeard's punch, including Akainu's head, fell to the ground, the solid ground also exploded. Rumble! Marineford collapsed in an instant, and Sakazuki was punched directly into the abyss. Chapter 203 Sabayati Archipelago. Hiss! Marineford was deterred by Whitebeard's punch. Admiral Akainu was also punched down into the abyss by Whitebeard. Is this the most powerful man in the world? I have already paid so much attention to it, I didn't expect him to beat Admiral Akainu so violently. Don't brag. Didn't you see Whitebeard's head was cut off in half by Akainu? Don't underestimate Marine Admiral, let alone 4 emperors. Not to mention the most powerful man in the world. Yes. Even though Whitebeard is old and seriously injured, if anyone dares to underestimate him, they will end up like Akainu. Watching the scene of Whitebeard fighting Akainu, many people were filled with emotion. Marineford. Pop! Pop, are you okay? Seeing the situation on Whitebeard's side, several commanders shouted anxiously. However, they were all fighting at this time, so they couldn't come in time. Gururara! I can't die from this little injury. Whitebeard swung his naginata and chopped off all the marine in front of him. On the other side, Aokiji returned to the defense extremely fast. Pheasant beak! With his charge, his arm turned into a big ice bird, and he threw himself at Ace and Luffy violently. Ice burst, instantly soaring into the sky. Fire wall! Ace stood directly in front of Luffy, his arms were like 2 fire throwers, releasing a huge fire in an instant, blocking Aokiji's attack. Boom! The ice burst and hot explosion instantly formed billowing white mist, soaring into the sky. Yo ho 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 WW! I'm chasing you again! Just when the two had just met each other, Brook's humming tune suddenly appeared in Aokiji's ears. Next moment, the soul chain hit Aokiji with a bang. The power of the hellfire has an extremely restrained effect on Aokiji, and Aokiji will explode with a single chain. Ace, Luffy, you two block Kizaru and Sengoku respectively, buy me a little time, can you do it? At this time, Logan looked at Ace and Luffy who were about to escape, and said. No problem. Luffy agreed without hesitation. As his most reliable crewmate, Luffy has no reason not to trust Logan in all his actions. As for Ace, although he wanted to escape here earlier so as to save the Whitebeard pirates from dying, but since it was Logan's request, Ace has no reason to refuse. After all, his life was saved by others. Okay. I'll deal with Kizaru. Ace rushed to the front of Logan in an instant and confronted Kizaru. Kizaru's face was stunned, and he suddenly had the idea of scolding his mother. Didn't we agree to do our own thing? How the hell did you send this guy to him? How can he act like this? Hey! Don't say I didn't think about you. After paddling for such a long time, you should show some effort to Sengoku, so that you can show that you are trying. After Logan said that, he rushed towards the execution platform. Letting Roger's son be Kizaru's opponent, isn't it a little too much for him? Woo, you look very confident, but that guy named Logan seems to have made a mistake. Kizaru raised his eyebrows lightly, showing a playful smile. He will underestimate Luffy, but it doesn't mean he will underestimate Ace. There is still a difference in essence. You seem to have no idea about me. Ace also imitated Kizaru's way of speaking, and smiled. On land, I am the strongest Logia. This word. Although what he said is arrogant, as long as the premise is on land, not on a vehicle, then what Ace said is really true. Strongest Logia. Kizaru didn't want to listen now. How crazy! Kizaru's figure instantly disappeared from the spot. The next moment, his voice rang in Ace's ear, "Have you ever tasted the feeling of being kicked at the speed of light?" Although Ace has the ability of Logia, his 2-type Haki is not very strong, and his speed and reaction are only quite satisfactory. When he meets Kizaru, who is good at speed, he really has nothing to show off. Ace was like a cannonball, instantly blasting into the pile of rocks behind. Seeing that Ace was blown away, Luffy's anger level instantly soared. Boom! Boom 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 boom! The heartbeat beats fast, forming a burst of free war drums. Snake whip! His arm stretched tens of meters, like a swimming python, it attacked Kizaru viciously. Woo, I don't want to see that kind of weird ability. Without hesitation, Kizaru immediately turned into a beam of light and shot to another place. Luffy's high-level observation Haki has already locked him tightly, even locked his landing point. When one arm attacked the position before Kizaru's evasion, the other arm also turned into a swimming black python. With the momentum, it was drawn to the position after Kizaru's evasion with a swipe. As soon as Kizaru landed, he saw a light and shadow coming. Not good. Kizaru's heart skipped a beat, and his observation Haki immediately sensed the danger. However, it was too late to hide. Boom! This seems to be a weak arm whip, but it is as powerful as it is hit. There was no cartoon scene like Sengoku, Kizaru just felt as if his body was hit by a meteorite falling from the sky. Although he has turned on elementalization, Luffy has also turned on advanced armament Haki. Because Ace was beaten up by Kizaru, Luffy was furious at this time, and directly used up the 2-type Haki. Kizaru's figure also turned into a cannonball, and like Ace, it directly blasted into the ruins and disappeared. Boom! On the other side, fire exploded, and Ace jumped out of the rubble. Damn it! It's really stupid to use body skills to attack. Ace's face was full of anger, and he looked around for Kizaru angrily. Originally he thought that Kizaru would attack him with a laser beam, he was ready to show Kizaru a light fire dragon mode. He didn't expect that Kizaru didn't use laser beam, but he actually fought melee. Thinking of himself bragging in front of Logan that he can handle Kizaru and being kicked away by Kizaru the next moment, this is really embarrassing. However, when he wanted to look for Kizaru at this time, he looked around in amazement. Hey? Where is the person? As soon as the voice fell, he heard movement in the ruins on the other side. Woo, Straw Hat Luffy, your fist really hurts. Kizaru condensed from the ruins, he rubbed his belly, and a constipated expression appeared on his face. Hey? Luffy, did you do it? Ace stared, horrified. Although Luffy is very powerful now, but Ace has not been seen much. Even just now, Luffy ran all the way to the execution platform, barely fighting. That is, when he was on the execution platform, he only got attack once. He won't talk about the punch to Garp, it has no reference significance. The battle against Sengoku was amazing, but Ace thought it was the effect of Devil Fruit. But now Luffy kicked Kizaru away with a punch. It's definitely not easy. You know, the yellow ape is light. When his speed is pulled up, he is already invincible. To fight with Kizaru, you must first have the advanced observation Haki. If this necessary condition is not met, no matter how strong your Devil Fruit ability is, no matter how strong your armament Haki is, you still won't touch a single hair of Kizaru. Such is the case. Mara Fruit and Fire Dragon slaying magic is enough to make Ace rank among the high level in this world. But because of the missing observation Haki, as long as Kizaru is determined to use his speed, Ace has no chance of winning. Yes. Luffy nodded. Didn't he just hit him with a punch? Is there any doubt about that? Ace didn't know what to say. Kizaru kicked Ace away, and then Luffy knocked him away with one punch before Ace got up. This makes Ace seem like a rookie. Is this still the weak brother who never beat him in fights? Chapter 204. Straw Hat Luffy. Don't try to escape. Sengoku adjusted his posture in the air, and approached Luffy again. I don't want to run away at all. I want to hold you back for Logan. Luffy is also upright, and the truth is out of a basket. Only then did Sengoku recall that what Logan seemed to say to Luffy and Ace just now. What is that kid up to? Subconsciously, Sengoku turned his head to look in Logan's direction, only to find that Logan had already stood on the execution platform. Are you about to start? In the distance, the Empress Hancock, who was fighting, saw this scene at this moment, and suddenly became excited with a thumping heart. The reason why she agreed to help Logan is to witness the next scene with her own eyes. In fact, even if Logan and his gang were successfully brought in, Hancock still didn't fully believe that Logan really dared to do that. However, even if the chance of Logan doing this is only 1%, Hancock is willing to take a gamble. There is always a dream. What if it really happened? Here, Mary, point the camera at me. Logan raised his hands high and waved in the direction of the going Mary. Mary heard her dad's call, and immediately shot the camera of the video. Den Mushy. Sabayati Archipelago. Hey? Why give this person want a big close-up? What is this for? Put the camera on Whitebeard. I want to see Whitebeard. Yet. Whitebeard might die soon, I wants to witness the end of the world's strongest man. Cut back to him quickly. We want to see Whitebeard. Grandma. What happened to the little beauty on the live broadcast? Does she want us to miss the end of Whitebeard? A group of melon-eating crowd saw that there was only a young man and the execution platform left in the camera, and they became anxious immediately. The deputy captain of the Straw Hat Pirates. Apui frowned, curious on his face. I heard that this guy is a mangaka. The guy who offered a bounty of 370 million is actually a mangaka, can you believe it? Ace has already been rescued, why did this guy return to the execution platform? What is he going to do? Drake stared at the big screen in bewilderment. As Marine's undercover agent, he is very concerned about this battle. Especially seeing the intensity of the Marineford battle at this moment. If it wasn't because his identity as an undercover agent was very important, he really wanted to participate in this battle. Kid opened his mouth wide, ha ha ha. Although I don't know what he is going to do, but judging by his posture, there may be some great surprise. Trafalgar Law rested his hands behind his head and said lightly, although I haven't met him, I know a little bit about Logan, who is in charge. He is not a guy who is good at mindless things. As far as the execution platform is concerned, that must be the place where prisoners are executed. Could it be that he wants to execute someone? Hawkins sat there manipulating the cards for a while, and said with a confused face. Those guys are nuts. Who knows what they can do? Big Eater Jewelry Bonnie said in dissatisfaction while stuffing sausages into her mouth. After all, when she was in Sabayati Archipelago, she was so angry by Zoro and Logan that her back hurt. Marineford. Hey! Everybody, look over here. Logan, who was already standing in the middle of the execution platform, suddenly yelled at the audience. His voice was broadcast through the advanced armament hackies, and it spread throughout the area in an instant. It was also transmitted to the ears of all the people who watched through the live broadcast on the big screen. With his roar, it seemed as if the war had been paused in an instant. Everyone was stunned for a moment, and reflexively turned their gazes to the top of the execution platform. Hello? Why are there still people there? What is that pirate going to do? Everyone who was fighting looked at Logan in bewilderment. Hey! Listen to me, originally the Marine want to execute the only blood left by the former pirate king Gold Roger. This can be said to be a big event that shakes the times. Logan spoke to everyone in an unheard manner, as if giving a speech. Boy, what do you want to do? Seeing this, Sengoku was furious. Logan ignored Sengoku, but continued, but, we have rescued Ace. The execution of Ace has been cancelled. But the problem is, the execution scene that everyone was looking forward to is gone, don't you feel disappointed? For this reason, I decided to execute a person here on this once-in-a-lifetime stage. I will continue the excitement that everyone just lost. Wow! As soon as these words came out, the interest of the people who were watching the war was immediately aroused. Another execution? And this scene was chosen on purpose? Hey! It seems interesting. He actually wants to execute people at this time, he is really an incomprehensible guy. Kid grinned slightly, showing great interest on his face. Blah 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 blah. Apu is also laughing maniacally. In his opinion, at this time, of course, retreat should be the main priority. To actually think of killing one's own enemy on the execution platform of Marineford, what an enmity it must be. By doing this, isn't it clear that you want to throw dirt on the Marine reputation? The person Marine wanted to execute was rescued by you, and then you occupied the magpie's nest and used other people's place to execute your own enemies. Capone Beeg shook his head. I don't think it's necessarily an enemy. I think, if it's just an enemy, there's no need for him to mobilize so many people. It doesn't feel reasonable. Etc. Suddenly, Jewelry Bonnie exclaimed. Urich said angrily, Hey! You big stomach girl, what the hell are you doing? Strange Gunwit's tongue stretched out, that's right. I'm watching the live broadcast. Stop with the distraction. Bonnie, what's on your mind? Trafalgar Law looked at Jewelry Bonnie suspiciously. He felt that a well-informed person like Jewelry Bonnie would not do this because of some so-called big event. Since she can exclaim in such a gaffe, it is probably a really big event beyond everyone's expectations. I said, you big stomach girl, do you know something? Kid also looked at Jewelry Bonnie. Jewelry Bonnie's face changed for a while, and he murmured, I remember when I was in Sabayati Archipelago that day, this Logan capture a person. Although the scene of Logan beating the Tenryuo Obito was seen by many pirates, but not many people saw the scene where Logan captured Saint Charlos. And Jewelry Bonnie happened to be one of the witnesses. Afterwards, although it became a fact that Saint Charlos was captured by Logan, Marine and the world government did not make a big report on this matter. After all, this kind of thing can be said to be a shameful thing for the government of the world, of course it has to be covered. What's more, once you open your mouth about some things, you will follow suit later. If the world knows that someone dares to capture Tenryuo Obito, who can guarantee that no one will follow suit? You know, there are many lunatics who are not afraid of death. Who was taken away? How could you make such a big-stomached woman show such an expression? Seeing the panic on Jewelry Bonnie's face, Capone Beeg frowned. Ha ha ha. I'm curious too. Kid laughed. Drake's face was solemn, and he thought to himself, no way. As an undercover Marine, of course he knows some inside information. After Tenryuo Obito was captured, he received a secret order from Marine Ford, asking him to pay attention to the movements of the Straw Hat pirates, and to rescue Tenryuo Obito Saint Charlos if he had the opportunity. He was shocked by the news at that time. Someone really dares to attack the Tenryuo Obito. But seeing this scene now, he finally understood. It turned out that the other party was much more courageous than he imagined. Marine has prepared for the worst, waiting for news of the death of Saint Charlos. But never expected. Maybe. It would be the best news ever to hear that Charlos Saint's body was found somewhere. This madman. He wouldn't really dare to do that. Thinking of that terrible possibility, Drake subconsciously gritted his back molars, his heart was shocked. Chapter 205. Hey! Tell me quickly. Who did he capture? Girls, why are you so anxious to talk? Seeing Jewelry Bonnie hesitate to speak, Urich urged impatiently. Be careful, I will tear your mouth apart. Jewelry Bonnie was not easy to mess with, and said angrily. However, she hesitated for a while and said, that day in the Sabayati Archipelago, Logan captured Tenryuo Obito. Hiss. As soon as this word came out, the people around all gasped suddenly. The air conditioning poured in, and even the back was frightened to be cold. Capture? Who? Ah, hello. Am I suddenly deaf? Catch a Tenryuo Obito? Are you kidding me? This kind of joke is not allowed. This is the Sabayati Archipelago, a Marine Admiral will come if you try anything toward them. Hey, it can't be true, right? For a moment, everyone around looked at Jewelry Bonnie with horror. Even the supernovas were all stunned by shock at this time. Captured a Tenryuo Obito? FK. Oh no. It's not the most outrageous. The most outrageous thing is, the next thing this guy wants to do may be to execute a Tenryuo Obito on the execution platform of Marine Ford in front of the whole world live broadcast. Is this crazy? Calling him a lunatic is too flattering for a lunatic. Marine Ford. I'm going to execute a person here today to continue the excitement that everyone lost just now. As Logan spoke, he reached into his pocket. Everyone is fascinated. You say you want to execute someone, but what are you doing in your pocket? Seeing Logan's actions, many people had such absurd thoughts. But the next moment, FK. Almost everyone's reaction is the same. While everyone was stunned, Logan actually took out a man from his pocket. The moment that person was taken out, like an inflated balloon, it suddenly enlarged to the size of a normal person. Who is this? A dead fat pig. I thought some big person was going to be executed. I didn't expect it to be a little-known little character. Who can tell me who this bastard is? I haven't seen it, and I haven't heard of it. At least it is certain that it is not a famous person. When St. Charlos appeared on the execution platform, everyone's first reaction was, "Who the hell is this?" Originally thought that Logan was about to execute a big figure, at least a well-known figure. But he brings such a fat man, and the fat man seemed to be very weak, and everyone was immediately confused. Certainly. There are still people who know the man. Sabayati Archipelago. Oh. It turns out, it's true. Apple looked at the guy who was picked up by Logan with a shocked face, and the whole person was frightened into a fool. Capone Beeg smoked his cigar violently, breathed out, "I always thought that I was the craziest pirate, but I never thought that in front of Logan, I would be like a good boy." Ha ha ha. Kid laughed. Hearing the laughter, Capone Beeg immediately looked at Kid fiercely, "You're laughing. If you dare to do what Logan did, you can laugh at me again." Kid was not angry, but laughed at himself, "Ha ha ha. If you say that, then I really don't have the right to laugh at you for the time being." Beating up the Tenryuo Obito? He dared to do it if he went all out. Kill the Tenryuo Obito, Kid is not crazy to that point. Execution of Tenryuo Obito on Marineford execution platform? Kid thought about it 10,000 times, and finally came to a conclusion that Logan is well beyond mad. Jewelry Bonnie gritted his teeth, "Damn, they are really so bold." Apart from those people who are knowledgeable, the most knowledgeable people are those big names in Marineford. Although it is impossible for Fleet Admiral Marine and Admiral to remember the appearance of the Tenryuo Obito, as the only Tenryuo Obito who has been kidnapped for hundreds of years, Fleet Admiral Marine and Admiral naturally have a deep impression on the appearance of this guy. Borsellino's pupils widened, and his scalp felt numb. He remembered that when Logan captured Charlos, he asked Logan why he kidnapped Tenryuo Obito. At that time, Logan told Kizaru that he just wanted to kill Charlos. But Kizaru never dreamed that what Logan said about killing him, turned out to be like this. This is simply slapping on the face of the world's government. Hey hey hey! Aokiji had just condensed into a solid body at this time. Seeing such absurd scene, he opened his mouth wide in shock. What a bunch of lawless guys! Vice Admiral Tsuru's old face was full of unbelievable horror. Bastard! Stop him! Sengoku shouted anxiously when he saw the big face of St. Charlos clearly. Woo, this must be stopped. Kizaru pursed his lips in a low voice, and then fired laser beams at the same time with both hands. But when these laser beams reached the execution platform, they were blocked by an invisible barrier. Damn it! It's that ability again. Shaking his head annoyed, Kizaru gritted his teeth depressedly. I did my best, Kizaru though. Double ice time capsule. Aokiji shot without hesitation. But just as he threw the extremely cold ice ball in his hands, a ball of hellfire appeared in front of him. Yo ho ho ho, don't try to mess with what our vice captain. The soul chain spun into a circular wall of fire in Brook's hands, immediately blocking the two ice space-time capsules. Buddha Blaster. Seeing that Admiral was restrained, Sengoku could only do it himself. He stepped into the void and appeared above Logan, his right fist condensed a dazzling golden Buddha light. Ah ha ha ha! Ah ha ha ha! But at this moment, laughter like free drumming appeared behind his head. Sengoku suddenly felt bad. Boom! Boom! Sengoku felt as if he had been hit hard by two hammers on the back of his head. And then, Luffy's two fists burst out of Sengoku's eye sockets. Ah! Sengoku only felt that his eyes went dark, and he couldn't see anything again immediately. Even the shock wave of the Buddha's light in his hand dissipated. Ah, this! Ace looked at the side with a confused face. He exclaimed, Luffy, this is also the ability of rubber fruit. Ah ha ha ha! This is the highest state I have developed so far, the Gear 5. Luffy said happily, and at the same time his fists stretched far away, and then turned back. Boom! Boom! Two punches hit Sengoku in the stomach. No doubt. Sengoku's stomach was also pierced instantly. In this way, it is equivalent to Luffy connecting Sengoku's eyes and belly with two arms. More like two big locks, locked by Sengoku. Ah ha ha ha! Invincible windmill. In this way, locking the victory with his arms, Luffy swung his two arms clockwise. Whoosh! 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 Whoosh whoosh! Whoosh whoosh whoosh. After a while, Luffy's arm turned into a helicopter propeller. Sengoku was also forced to play the big turntable. On the execution stand, Logan took a look at the reactions of everyone at the scene. Except for some people in Sengoku and Marine Admiral who reacted strongly, others seemed to have little reaction. No. They didn't respond at all. Where is the problem? Logan frowned. The next moment, he suddenly opened his mouth. Ah! I remembered. Normal people can't recognize that Saint Charlos is a Tenryuabito. Knowing what the problem was, Logan immediately took out an air cover in his pocket. The moment the air cover leaves the pocket, it also becomes a model that fits the size of Charlos's head. Come on, wear this thing that symbolizes your identity. As he said, Logan put the air cover on the head of Saint Charlos. As the saying goes, people depend on clothes. The moment the good air cover clicked on the head of Saint Charlos, the aggressiveness of the Tenryuabito was revealed immediately. Ah! This. My god! He's world noble. Yashao, I said that he is so inspiring, it is impossible to execute an ordinary person. I thought he was going to execute some well-known strong man, but I didn't expect him to be so bold that he wanted to execute the Tenryuabito. Crazy. He must be crazy. Oh my god. There are people in this world who dare to attack the Tenryuabito, and want to kill the Tenryuabito? I must be dreaming. Where is this killing the Tenryuabito? This is the execution of the Tenryuabito in front of the whole world. This is of great significance. When people learned that the person who was about to be executed on the execution platform was Tenryuabito, everyone immediately understood what the execution meant. Tenryuabito. In this world, even 3-year-old children know that they cannot disobey any will of the heaven-defying Tenryuabito. Even if that decree is for you to gnaw on your own body, you can't disobey it. This is the status of Tenryuabito in this world. After hundreds of years of brainwashing and deterrence, no one has doubted this iron law. No one will have the idea of wanting to attack the Tenryuabito. Even if it was the lawless revolutionary army, they didn't have the audacity to kill the Tenryuabito. But now, if a Tenryuabito is executed in front of the whole world, what does that mean? This means that the position of the high and irreversible god of the Tenryuabito will collapse in an instant. Everyone will realize that. Ah! It turns out that Tenryuabito can also be killed. It turns out that the so-called gods are actually the same as them, they will die if they lose their heads. It turns out that killing the Tenryuabito is not difficult in itself, the difficulty is that no one dares to take that step. In the midst of such a shock that shocked the world. On the execution stand, Logan kicked Saint Charlos on the heel, kicking him to his knees on the ground. The cold air dissipated and condensed into an ice blade in Logan's hands. Logan put the ice blade on Saint Charlos's neck, and asked loudly, Saint Charlos, tell me your father's name. As soon as this word came out, the whole world is in an uproar. Is this guy so dark? Everyone remembers that before the Summit War started, Sengoku questioned Ace loudly and shouted, Ace, say your father's name. To Ace. And now, Logan is shouting the same words to Saint Charlos. They have to say, this Logan. It's really a slap in the face. Chapter 206. Holy Land, Marie Joyce. St. Roswald Mansion. Son. St. Roswald jumped up from the sofa at once. Ever since his son was kidnapped, he's been having a party. In his opinion, his son has been killed by those criminal with a high probability, and now he is waiting for when to catch this murderer and let him vent his anger. Although the Summit War can be said to have attracted worldwide attention, few Tenryuabito cared about this war at all. Human life is not even as important to them. At least, when the number represents the number of boutique slaves, it can make them feel happy. And human life? They don't care at all. St. Roswald actually didn't care about Summit War either, but he was watching the real-time situation of Summit War through the big screen in front of him. The reason is very simple, because when the war was in full swing, someone called St. Roswald, telling him that the murderer who took his son also appeared in the Marine Ford. As a Tenryuabito, St. Roswald Mansion has a live den mushi on the scale of a home theater. Immediately, he asked someone to switch over the live broadcast signal. But what he never expected was that he actually saw this lawless criminal going to execute his son live on the execution platform of Marine Ford. No, don't. Come quickly. Call Fleet Admiral Marine immediately and ask him to protect my son's life no matter what. Saint Roswald couldn't hold back anymore, and immediately yelled at the servant. The servant was so scared that he hurried to find the Den Mushi. Pangaea Castle. Office of the Five Elders. Bastard. Saint Jupiter slammed the table and stood up in a jerk. Clatter. The solid marble tabletop was full of cracks for a moment, and exploded with a bang. The expressions of the other veteran stars also changed drastically. This guy is crazy. Damn, this is definitely a lunatic who is more ferocious than rocks and monkey D dragons. Don't let him succeed. Otherwise, the status of Tenryuo Obito will be shaken. Notify the CPO immediately. The primary target is still monkey D Luffy, and the second is this, Logan. Both of them must die. With the wrath of the Five Elders, the order was passed to the CPO, who was on his way to Marine Ford. Marine Ford. Ah! You scumbag! I am Saint Charlos. My father is Saint Roswald. Come and save me. I can give him 500 million, oh no, 1 billion bellas. Under Logan's stern shout, Charlos howled hysterically towards the front. After being captured by Logan for so many days, he has been kept in the dark ship bilge of cricket. He thought that he would never have the chance to see the sun again, but now he saw that he was actually at the scene of Marine Ford, and his hope to survive was activated at once. Everyone was stunned when Charlos reported himself at home. He. Really a Tenryuo Obito? Saint Charlos, Saint Roswald, the names of these two Tenryuo Obito, I remember. Their family often goes to the auction in Sabayati Islands. Oh my god! This pirate, he actually wants to execute a Tenryuo Obito. This lunatic, how dare he? It's over, this heaven is about to collapse. I'm afraid there will be no peace on the sea for a long time. Damn bastard! If he does this, we other pirates will also be affected. All over the world, people in front of the big screen are dumbfounded. No one can imagine that someone dares to attack the Tenryuo Obito. New World, Baltigo Island. In front of a temporary large live broadcast screen, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, Monkey D. Dragon, was standing here. He looked at Logan in the picture, and his heart was shocked. When he first saw Logan in Logue Town, he knew that Logan is different from other pirate. But looking at the scene in front of him now, he admits that his vision was still short-sighted. This is definitely not just different. This is simply an existence that doesn't even care taking on the world. Boss, this guy is too bold. Karasuo exclaimed with a face full of brazenness. On the other side, Sabo said with admiration, it's amazing. He is so young. And have already stood on the world stage and try and beheaded Tenryuo Obito. Sabo, it was the Tenryuo Obito's ship that fired at you, and you fell into the water and lost your memory. Now that I see the Tenryuo Obito beheaded, I'm happy for you. The smaller koala stood behind Sabo and said in a low voice. Wow, to think East Blue have someone like that. Bello Betty pulled down her sunglasses, and carefully looked at the figure of Logan on the big screen with eyes whose eyelashes were brushed like steel needles. As the commander of the Eastern Army of the Revolutionary Army, Bello Betty has been stationed in East Blue, leading the uprising of the suffering people. This time, she happened to have something to discuss with Monkey D. Dragon, and she did not expect to witness the live broadcast at the headquarters of the Revolutionary Army. Hey, Bello Betty, don't try to flirt with him. He's a young man. Look at what you said, isn't it appropriate for our Eastern Army commander to be this young man's big sister? Ahahaha. Behind Bello Betty, several important figures of the Revolutionary Army suddenly started joking. Bello Betty is not angry either, her character is carefree, otherwise her subordinates would not dare to make such jokes. Among the red pies, the toothpick was lightly bitten, and the corner of Bello Betty's mouth curled up. If there is a chance, I should meet him. Marine Ford. Where's Marine Admiral? Where's Marine Admiral? Come and save me. Saint Charlos is like a happy pig staying there, fighting and howling non-stop. He looked at the Marines below and yelled, if I lose a single hair, my father will not forgive you. Hearing this, Logan murmured, if you lose a single hair, your father won't let Marine go? That's great. Immediately, Logan grabbed Charlos's hair and pulled it hard. Brush. A lock of hair was torn off immediately, and blood dripped from the scalp. FK. This man is so brave. This time, he completely offended the Tenryuo Obito to death. Here. The Tenryuo Obito should be watching too, right? The dead fat pig just said that as long as he lose a hair, his father will not let Marine go. He only has one last wish, how about it? Saint Roswald, don't disappoint your son's last wish. Logan looked in the direction of little Mary's live broadcast camera, and threw a lock of Saint Charlos's hair off the execution platform. Puff, dash. As soon as these words came out, Marine present at the scene spurted a mouthful of blood. What hatred, what resentment. Okay, everyone has heard that this dead fat pig, Saint Charlos, is undoubtedly a Tenryuo Abaito, so after verifying his identity, he will be officially executed now. As he spoke, Logan twitched his fingers. The ice blade in his hand was automatically suspended above the neck of Saint Charlos. Stop! Logan! Don't kill him, I can let you all escape. Seeing that he couldn't pass Luffy's blocking, Sengoku shouted anxiously to Logan. Boy, if you really do it, the consequences will be more serious than you imagined. Vice Admiral Tsuru also hurriedly warned with embellishments. Hey, little brother Logan, you have to think carefully. Kizaru, as the one who watched Logan take Saint Charlos away from him in Sabayati Archipelago, hurriedly persuaded him at this time. What are you thinking? You are all people with superior IQs, do you think I am joking? Faced with the pressure from all sides, Logan just smiled lightly. Do you want to know why I want to kill him? Why? Sengoku quickly answered. After all, talking can delay time. Even if it's just stalling for time, it's better than seeing Saint Charlos killed immediately. Logan said, that day, in the Sabayati Archipelago. 2 people were carrying a stretcher to take a seriously injured person to the hospital, and they happened to meet this fat pig. The fat pig felt that someone was blocking his way, so he went to the patient and he shot the injured person. Killing him. Sengoku frowned, is there a problem with this? Vice Admiral Strawberry said, yes. Anyone knows that when you see a Tenryuo Abaito, you should immediately kneel beside them. Since these people are in the way, it's okay for the Tenryuo Abaito to kill him. Although I sympathize with the wounded person, it is not a problem for the Tenryuo Abaito to kill a civilian. Vice Admiral Tsuru said in a deep voice. Hearing the words of these marine executives, Logan immediately angrily interrupted their high-spirited talk. He pointed at Sengoku, you don't think there is a problem, it's just because you volunteered to be the dog for the Tenryuo Abaito, you let your common sense go. Sengoku's old face flushed suddenly, and his breathing accelerated. He almost passed out in one breath. Presumptuous. Bastard, what are you talking about? I really don't know what to do. The marine executives were furious. Logan sneered, and then said, let me ask you again, do the civilians think this is all right? Nonsense. Common people dare to complain. Vice Admiral Inigamo roared. Well said. How dare common people complain? Logan smiled coldly, he looked Inigamo with cold eyes. Civilians don't dare to complain, that's because they are suppressed by you dogs of the Tenryuo Abaito. Whoever dares to complain, the Tenryuo Abaito will send you obedient dogs to kill those civilians. In the long run, which commoner dares to complain? Logan's words directly angered all the hawkish marines. It also stabs the heart of the passive marine. Damn it! This person! Why tell the truth? At this time, the people in front of the big screen were deeply shocked by Logan's words. Yet, have we no complaints? We dare not complain. If we have the strength not to be afraid of marine, see if we dare to complain. For a while, whether it is a commoner or a pirate, a fire ignited in their hearts instantly. Kill him! Kill him! Kill this Tenryuo Abaito! Chapter 207. Logan! Stop all of this! Sengoku yelled anxiously, he accused angrily, Tenryuo Abaito are the descendants of the creator of this world, their current power and status are what they deserve. No one can disobey the heaven-defying Tenryuo Abaito, 3 years old even kids know it. Oh? Really? How about, let's hear what the person has to say. Logan curled his lips, then stretched out his hand, grabbed the other half of Charlos's hair, lifted him up suddenly, and asked in a cold voice, Fat pig, tell me, you killed someone, shouldn't you pay for it with your life? Life for a life? Hearing this, Charlos is full of question marks. He is a Tenryuo Abaito, this criminal dared to ask him this kind of question? Immediately, he was furious, how is that possible? You scum! I'm Saint Charlos, a Tenryuo Abaito. Snapped. As soon as his words fell, Logan slapped him in the face with a big fight. Suddenly, he was slapped with shock in his eyes, dazzled. The entire battlefield resounded with the sound of gasping for air. Live broadcasting torture the Tenryuabito, this is more than killing the Tenryuabito. Give you another chance, do you want to pay for your life if you kill someone? Logan was as indifferent as iron, holding the head of Saint Charlos, and asked coldly. Charlos was very stubborn in his heart and wanted to reply, but the fat pig face that was torn in pain made him dare not disobey Logan's questioning. He is not a fool, of course he knows that if his next answer dares to disobey Logan's intentions, Logan's will hurt him again. After hesitating for a while, he could only speak timidly, yes. Snapped. Logan went up again with a big push, and asked fiercely, say it clearly. With another slap, Charlos felt that his head was about to explode, and the severe pain shook his brain instantly, making him dizzy and nauseous, extremely uncomfortable. But he didn't care about the pain, and hurriedly howled, ah! A life for a life! A life for a life! Logan casually let go of Charlos's hair, and then looked at Sengoku, did you hear that? Even your master understands the simple truth of a life for a life, but you old dog is still shameless. Listening to Logan mocking him, Sengoku is so angry. Blood pressure soars. Shut up! That's what he said because of your torture. Sengoku raged. Hee hee. A disdainful laugh came from Logan, and he looked at the camera of the live Den Mushi. Could it be that the civilians who are watching the live broadcast are afraid of the Tenryuabito because they are threatened by you big dogs called Marines? The expression of Marine who was present suddenly changed. Especially some young Marine soldiers, listening to Logan's questions at this time. Yes. Why do even 3-year-olds know that they cannot disobey the will of the Tenryuabito? Was it also like this when the Tenryuabito first appeared? Obviously, anyone with a little intelligence should understand, no. But why is everyone afraid to disobey Tenryuabito now? As long as Tenryuabito order it, the Marine will come and finish it. If things go on like this, where can there be stupid who dare to disobey Tenryuabito? You. Sengoku directly turned back from the Buddha form to the appearance of an ordinary human being. He covered his heart with his hands and was panting. He wanted to say something, but Logan cut it off, shut up. Sengoku, you old dog. 20 years ago, the scholars of O'Hara were detained by the world government because they accidentally learned something about the dirty and ugly side of the world government 800 years ago during the archaeological process. With the order of the world government, you, an old dog who was still Marine Admiral at the time, issued a buster call to O'Hara without hesitation. What's wrong with those scholars? They just want to study. Take a step back. Even if those scholars endanger the rule of the world government, then the world government has a reason to kill them. Whether this reason is correct or not, at least there is a reason. But, you old dog, please tell me. Ordinary residents of O'Hara, what's wrong with them? Just because you were afraid that an archaeologist would get mixed up among them, you kill all the hundreds of thousands of people in O'Hara. Speaking of deterring by force? You, an old dog, deserves to say this in front of me. Perhaps out of emotion, Logan almost roared and questioned Sengoku fiercely. It's not questioning, it's contempt. Yes. Rebuke. On the deck of the Going Merry, Nico Robin was trembling. The slender palm covered the red lips, and the tears poured out of the eyes uncontrollably. This stinky man. Is he trying to stand up for her? Well, yes, it must be. O'Hara is Robin's heart knot and the indelible pain in Robin's life. However, at this moment, Logan clarified the demon theory for O'Hara in front of the live broadcast all over the world, and even exposed what Marine did. It also exposed all the smearing behaviors of the government of the world. It can be said, all the resentment and hatred of Nico Robin are completely released at this moment with Logan's words. You do this for me, what should she do to repay him? And at this time, Logan seemed to have a telepathy, and turned his attention to Robin. And then went on. There's a little girl. At the age of 8, she witnessed the total destruction of her hometown under Buster Call. She obviously doesn't know anything, and she hasn't done anything bad? Maybe God favored her and let her survive. But what did the government of the world do? What did Marine do? The government of the world accused her of being a devil child. Marine is hunting her endlessly. You know, she is just a little girl who is only 8 years old. She is pure white like a piece of paper. She should have lived a carefree childhood. But who is going to tell her? Who knows everything about her? Who the hell ruined the lives of hundreds of thousands of innocent O'Hara people? Logan's words directly shocked everyone present. Not only the pirates, even many Marines are clenching their fists at this time. Damn it! That girl is innocent. Those O'Hara residents who were wiped out by Buster Call are also innocent. A pirate stabbed the big sword in his hand into the ground vigorously, and roared, "Mad! Damn Marine! They are the lackeys of the Tenryuabito and the cold-faced executioners." Another pirate yelled, "It's the goddamn world government that ruined everything for them. Ha ha ha! Still representing justice? FKF King Justice. Bah! Looking at the word justice on Marine's cloak now, it's really disgusting." The pirates cursed angrily. Some Marines who were fighting against the pirates just now, because they were relatively close to the pirates, heard the pirates cursing and taunting, and they were all ashamed and their faces were hot. They get scolded. But it seems that there is nothing wrong with others scolding. Ah! In front of the big screens of each live broadcast. Ugly Marine! Disgusting world government! Killing so many innocent civilians, you still have to slander them as a demon that endangers the world. You are as shameless as you are. It's really vicious. They don't even want to let go of the only 8-year-old girl. Yet, what can an 8-year-old girl know? It's not human to be chasing endlessly. Thanks to this warrior, let me see the ugly side of the world government and Marine. Marine Ford, on the scaffold. As soon as Logan raised his head, he turned his gaze to the camera on the live call. With a strong rhetorical tone, he said loudly, "Those who are watching this battle. If you still have a little conscience, please tell me. This Tenryuabito who killed innocent civilians, shouldn't they be punished?" Ah! Sengoku's face turned pale immediately. The 5 elders of Marie Joyce are also shocked. They looked at Logan at this time, full of fear. This young man is horrible. In just a short time, he may change the whole world's perception. Really? Just like Sengoku and 5 elders worried about. Kill. Dash. On the deck of Going Merry, Nico Robin seemed to melt the hatred accumulated for so many years into one breath, screaming with all his strength. This sound is like the beginning of a symphony. It's like a pebble thrown into the lake. There was an uproar in an instant. Kill. A bearded pirate gritted his teeth and roared. Kill. Another pirate with a red turban also trembled with anger. Kill. 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 When one pirate after another shouted out the anger in their hearts, finally these voices turned into a uniform kill. Some conscientious Marines clenched their fists and muttered softly, "Kill." Certainly. This is just a small scene. The real big scene is in front of the big screens all over the world. At this time, those Marine intelligence personnel were all pale with fright, sweating profusely. Because in front of every big screen, everyone watching this war all to be doing the same thing. That is shouting in unison, "Kill." I heard the voice of the people. Logan looks at the camera and Vivi smiles, and points to the camera with his left hand to show that it is helpful. Afterwards, he picked up the ice blade and held it up high. "You dare! Stop! Don't do anything stupid!" Almost all the high-rank executives of Marine screamed sharply as if they had been stepped on their tails. However, Logan doesn't like them at all. The icy ice blade crashed down. A big head flew out from Charlos Saint's neck. Blood dripped down the ice blade. Wow! This sword goes down. The whole world exploded. Chapter 208. Just when Saint Charlos' head flew out, the blood of all the people in the world was ignited at this moment. Almost all the civilians clenched their fists vigorously at this moment, moved forward, and roared. It's so exciting. That head is the head of a Tenryuabito. It's a Tenryuabito. Before this, no one had ever imagined this kind of scene. But the moment Logan just swung the sword, the intensity of people's desire to see the Tenryuabito beheaded was raised to an unprecedented level. Now, when all this becomes a reality. When they really saw a Tenryuabito being beheaded with their own eyes, the barrier above their heads seemed to be smashed instantly. Tenryuabito are not impossible to kill. As long as you are strong enough, Tenryuabito are nothing the so-called descendant of God. Look at the appearance of Saint Charlos just now feeling scared, he will cry and beg for mercy. If he is hurt, he will flatter them Tenryuabito. It's just an ordinary person wearing luxurious clothes. This kind of passionate and boiling emotion, like a prairie fire, quickly burned all over the island. Sabayati Archipelago. He just changed the world. Uraj dropped the huge pencil on the ground and raised his finger to the big screen. Ha 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 ha. It's crazy. It's crazy. Kid's eyes were filled with ferocity, and he slapped himself hard. In the next moment, bloodthirsty cruelty welled up in his eyes. I'm going to become the Pirate King. If I'm not even as good as someone else's vice captain, what qualifications do I have to pursue the throne of the Pirate King? Listen to me. Suddenly, his whole body was shaken, and his ferocious aura radiated, his eyes swept around fiercely, and then he pointed his thumb inward, and he could only point to himself. Eustace Kid. I want to kill the Tenryuabito. When the surrounding crowd heard this, they all turned pale with fright. Although someone has already done this thing just now, but the meaning is on the big screen. But now, there is a person in front of them brazenly saying that he wants to kill the Tenryuabito. Some timid pirates and civilians immediately sneaked away. They are afraid of being implicated. Haapu's pupils widened slightly, and then he showed a strange expression. You are so brave. I am looking forward to seeing your death in the newspaper. Capone Beak twitched the corner of his mouth, wanting to say something, but finally held back. He admits, he doesn't have the guts to touch the Tenryuabito, and he can't even announce such a thing. The impact of Logan's sword is really too great. It seems that the world is really going to be chaotic. Jewelry Bonnie gritted her teeth and said solemnly. For a pirate like her, she still prefers a relatively relaxed sea situation. Once the government of the world turns its anger on the pirates because of the execution of the Tenryuabito, then the future life of the pirates will definitely not be so easy. You girl with a big stomach, don't be so stupid. It's fun to see the chaos. Ha ha ha. Kid glanced at Jewelry Bonnie with serious eyes, and then he looked at Trafalgar Law. Hey. You there. It looks like you're being cowardly. Kid and Trafalgar Law met in the auction house before. The two even fight on each other. Now Kid uttered wild words. Of course, don't forget to provoke this opponent. What's the use of speaking loudly? Trafalgar Law gave Kid a middle finger, slightly twitching the corner of his mouth, and said with a sneer, why don't we make a bet, let's see who kills the next Tenryuabito first. Ha 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 ha. Kid looked up to the sky and laughed, okay. Not only will I kill the Tenryuabito before you, but I will kill more than you. Not far away, Hawkins kept moving in front of him for a long while. He frowned, it's weird. No matter how you calculate it, this Logan's death rate is 0%. Baltico Island. Really did it. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would definitely think that this person is a lunatic. But seeing this scene with my own eyes, not only is he not a lunatic, but a monster. Yes. What he said just now has a profound meaning. I have only heard similar words from the mouth of the leader before. It would be great if he was not a pirate, but a revolutionary army. In that case, our revolutionary army would have an extra monster. This man, his thinking is comparable way beyond us. A group of cadres of the Revolutionary Army praised and flattered Logan without hesitation, but Dragon was shaking his head seeing this. Haku quickly smoothed things over and said, you idiots, that Logan is just a pirate after all, how can he compare with the leader? Everyone saw Haku winking, one by one quickly changed their style of thinking, and flattered Dragon instead. But Dragon said, no. I mean, this person is more like a savior than me. Although Dragon has saved many people, when he saw the shock that Logan's execution just now brought to the world, he had to admit now if C is like a terminally ill body. And Dragon's method is only to treat this remnant body step by step. However, a serious illness should be treated with strong medicine. Logan's behavior just now is undoubtedly a strong medicine. When this strong medicine is applied, the remnant body will be stimulated. Just by feeling the reactions of the people around him, Dragon can clearly realize how strong this guy's influence on the world is. Holy Land, Marie Joyce. Damn. Saint Saturn, one of the elder, threw and smashed things indiscriminately. His old eyes were extremely red at this moment. He stared at Logan on the big screen, pointed his finger at him fiercely, and let out a ferocious roar, this man must die. Chapter 209. Marine Ford. The figure that fascinated the world, her beautiful eyes trembled at this time, and crystal tears rolled in her eye sockets. He really did it. Even when she saw Logan beheading the Tenryuabito with her own eyes, Hancock still couldn't believe it. Thought she was dreaming. The slender fingers pinched her face hard. Hiss. The real pain tells Hancock that all this is definitely not fake. The exhilaration of the sword just now directly stimulated Hancock's heart. It was a thrill like never before. She wished that the execution was done by herself. But anyway. There is the whole Amazon lily behind her, she can't be as bold as Logan. But what she wanted to do but could never do, Logan did it in front of her. And currently there is only Logan who can do this. Others dare not even mention it. Hancock looked at the figure standing on the execution platform, as if she was gently grasped by an invisible hand in the depths of her heart. Make her heart pound. At this time, Hancock looked at Logan with a special feeling. It's not called love, but it's something like. It is more like an autonomous feeling of being moved and conquered. This may sound a little out of place. But don't forget, for a person like Hancock, there is absolutely no such thing as step-by-step emotionally. Her emotion is cold and arrogant. If there is a singularity, it will only be a sudden intrusion. This moment. There is a man who broken and conquered. Hancock's fear of Tenryuabito in his heart was also melted a lot at this moment. She even fantasized in her mind, the scene where she personally killed the Tenryuabito who had enslaved her. Can this wish come true? If he will help me. Thinking of this, Hancock's breathing became heavy. The other side. Sengoku looked at the head that rolled down from the execution platform, he was dumbfounded. His face full of horror. Since he became the Fleet Admiral of Marine, he has dealt with countless wonderful incidents. But he has never touched this kind of thing before. He doesn't know what to do. There must be a limit to lawlessness. Vice Admiral Tsuru's old face is serious, and her face, like a dead tree branch, is full of anger. Not far behind her, Vice Admiral Jun opened her mouth wide, and still said, "This is really... Wu, is it true that nothing can scare him?" Kizaru looked at the figure standing proudly on the execution platform, holding a ice blade, and suddenly realized that this guy who had fought against him twice might be the guy who would change the world. Aokiji looked cold and lost in thought. Nico Robin's crewmate, can do this for her. No wonder she can swear so definitely that she will never betray this time. But, such a crewmate is too crazy. As the only existence that can translate historical texts, coupled with such a crewmate, Nico Robin and the others may disrupt the world in the future. That Logan guy. On another battlefield, Smoker gritted his teeth and shouted. But his hands are tightly held. It doesn't look like anger, but it seems to be the same reaction as those civilians. Hey! Smoker, don't be so obvious. It will get you in trouble. Hina appeared next to Smoker and reminded in a low voice. But Smoker said disdainfully, "I'm too lazy to care so much. I just say it's a good job. Who knows what I'm talking about?" Hina was speechless. She turned her gaze to Logan on the execution platform. This guy. But since she grew up, the only man who has ever teased her. Speaking of which, Hina thought in her heart that she must catch Logan with her own hands. But Hina did not want to kill Logan or imprison him. No. Whether Hina wants to admit it or not, she never had such a thought. What she wanted was to catch Logan with her own hands. As for how to deal with Logan in the future, Hina hasn't figured it out yet. Whitebeard immediately slashed his naginata, looking at the smashed Tenryuabito's head when it fell from the execution platform to the ground. He suddenly looked up to the sky and laughed, "Gururara. Logan boy. I have never seen a brat as brave as you in my life. This trip today is really worthwhile. It's true that newborn calves are not afraid of tigers." On the side, Marco was also shocked from ear to ear. Sengoku was dumbfounded for a short time, and immediately shouted, "All Marines obey orders. Kill the pirate Logan at all costs. This time 5 elders will definitely blame him severely. If Logan can be killed now, the anger of 5 elders will be much smaller." Saying that, Sengoku was about to rush towards Logan immediately. But Luffy punched him in the stomach and pulled him back. Both Kizaru and Aokiji were pinned down and couldn't make a move on Logan. A total of 4 Shishibukai came. Doflamingo is lying on the ground now. The battle between Mihawk and Zoro is inextricably linked. Bartholomew Kuma had just escaped from Nami's maze and was sniped by Usopp from a distance. Not only that, Nami also used Thunder, Wind, and Fire cards to attack Bartholomew Kuma. As for Hancock, now who dares to let her deal with Logan, whose mouth can she tear? The heavy task of attacking Logan naturally fell on the Marineford Vice Admiral team. I'm going to the right. Vice Admiral Mangaka leaped to the high platform. I'm going to the left. Vice Admiral Strawberry followed suit. I'm attacking the front. Another Vice Admiral took up the heavy responsibility in the middle. All three are veteran Vice Admirals of Marineford, and they all have the strength of great swordsmen. The three of them attack at the same time. When they combine their strength, they were enough to defeat Admiral. It's just that what they met was Logan. The number of people has no effect on Logan. With one step, Logan disappeared instantly. Where did he go? Vice Admiral Mangaka, who was in charge of attacking the front, immediately turned pale. Although his observation haki is also very strong, but it is still not enough to capture the trajectory of Logan. No, watch out behind you. The Vice Admiral Inigamo also failed to capture Logan's trajectory, but when he looked at Vice Admiral Mangaka, he saw that Logan had already appeared there. Ever taste what it's like to be kicked at the speed of light? For some reason, Logan couldn't help saying such lines as soon as he raised his leg. As soon as he finished speaking, his kick landed on Vice Admiral Mangaka. Vice Admiral Mangaka seemed to have disappeared out of thin air, it was gone. Boom! Almost at the same time, a violent roar erupted from the ground below the execution platform. Gravel flies up, smoke and dust disperse. When all the dust settled, they saw Vice Admiral Mangaka lying down in a deep pit full of rubble. Damn! How could he be so fast? Vice Admiral Strawberry suddenly shrank his eyes and said in horror. But as soon as he finished speaking, his heart was suddenly shocked. Because Logan's figure has disappeared. As soon as he felt such vigilance in his heart, Logan kicked him one by one. Boom! Vice Admiral Strawberry also disappeared in place, and then saw a hole exploded in the wall of the Marine base building far behind the execution platform. In the cave, Vice Admiral Strawberry is inlaid in it. Coincidentally, this location is exactly the location of the word justice on the wall of the Marineford building. Hey? It's a coincidence. Logan muttered, and his figure disappeared again. The Vice Admiral Inigamo found that Logan disappeared, and his hairs stood on end. He desperately used observation haki to search for Logan's position, but couldn't find Logan's track anyway. Boom! Logan's kick appeared, and Inigamo kicked to the inside the wall of the headquarters building. Undoubtedly, the position of his inlay is the official word in the word Marine. This time it's not a coincidence, but from Logan's sudden playfulness. Sengoku, it seems you can't catch me today. After finishing the three Vice Admirals, Logan did not forget to provoke Sengoku. Afterwards, he stepped down and jumped off the execution platform, looked at Luffy and Ace, and said, "Let's go." Good. Luffy didn't talk nonsense, cancelled the fifth gear, fell directly to the ground, and greeted Ace, "Let's go first." What? Ace was taken aback. FK. As the captain, he left the deputy captain and ran first? He was suddenly furious. Luffy, how can you leave Logan and run away alone? Hey! Hearing this, Luffy was stunned. Afterwards, he scratched his head. Ace, what are you thinking? We just need to cooperate with Logan's decision. You need to absolutely trust Logan. Saying that, Luffy pulled Ace and ran away. Ace was stunned again, and he immediately looked in Logan's direction. But he saw Logan smiled at him and gave him a reassuring expression. Ace looked at Sanji, Robin, Nami, Chopper and others. However, these guys have no doubts about Logan's decision at all. And they are all retreating. Damn! What kind of trust is this? Thinking of this, Ace no longer hesitated. Since everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates trusts Logan so much, he can't hold everyone back. Fire Fist! The arms turned into billowing fire, blasting away a group of marine soldiers. Ace and Luffy quickly retreated. As the battlefield situation has completely turned to the pirates, Marines' morale has dropped. Since the pirates were about to retreat, most of the marine soldiers simply followed suit and trying to stop them. Logan is fighting and retreating, throwing all kinds of abilities out like money, forming various barriers to marine. On the other side, Whitebeard is also covering the retreat of the pirates. Because of the condition of the battlefield, Whitebeard and Logan retreated form a Y-shaped route on both sides. When the retreat was halfway through, the two met in the middle. Gururara, boy, I finally see you. Whitebeard slashed a marine soldier, grinning. Are you waiting for me? Hearing this, Logan frowned. Wipe. You don't want to say that to me, do you? Gururara. It's okay, I just want to get to know a famous person like you before I finish my trip. Although Whitebeard really wanted to say that to Logan, he still held back. Partly because he was about to end his trip. On the other hand, he feels that someone like Logan who can do the work of killing the Tenryou Obito in the live broadcast. Such a courageous person. Celebrity? You can put it down, I'm just a normal pirate. Logan spread out his hands, and swept out a high-level tempest kick, blasting several chasing marine soldiers into the air. Gururara. Whitebeard was amused, he carefully looked at Logan's profile. He really want to chat with this guy a little more. However, there is no time. He can clearly feel his vitality is passing. Of course, that wasn't the main reason he wanted to end his trip. The main reason is that in today's war, if there is no super powerful person left to stop the enemy, by the way, and give Marine an account, then Marine will definitely not allow the pirates to evacuate easily. In that case, he is afraid that during the evacuation process, he don't know how many pirates will die. Whitebeard is now covered in bruises, and his wish to rescue Ace is gone, he has no more demands. Boy! You retreat quickly. Although he really wanted to chat with Logan for a few more words, but Whitebeard saw Marine pressing on behind him, and knew that the time for chatting was over. Rumble! At this moment, a huge roar came from behind. Everyone looked over and saw a pirate ship with the same shape as Moby Dick coming directly from the ground. This is a paddle steamer that can travel on land. On that deck, the Maelstrom Spider Piratess was leading his subordinates to hold weapons. Pop! Everyone, run away! We are responsible for breaking the rear and covering the battlefield. Squard held up his sword and yelled towards the bottom. Those belong to the Maelstrom Spider Pirates. Squard, don't do anything stupid. Do you want to die? The pirates shouted suddenly. That's right. Who told me to do that to my pop? Squard's face was like in stone, and he looked at death as home. Even if I can't atone for my crime with death, this is the only way I can feel at ease. Everyone, give me a chance to feel at ease, run away. The huge paddle steamer stopped abruptly. At the bow, Whitebeard held the bow with one hand, the strength is terrifying. Obviously, he was the one who stopped the ship. Hoo-hoo. Whitebeard took 2 deep breaths, and then said emphatically. It's unfilial for Asin to die before his father, don't you understand? Squard. Don't be so self-righteous. You can't kill me with that sword. My death has nothing to do with your sword. Our purpose of coming here has been achieved, you don't need to stay here anymore. Listen up, Whitebeard pirates. I am issuing the final captain's order. Chapter 210. What's the last? Wait a minute, Pop, don't say such inauspicious words. Let's not listen to this. Didn't we agree to go back to New World together? Pop. When the members of the Whitebeard pirates heard what Whitebeard said, their hearts all thumped hard. A wave of fear strikes. It's a fear of losing someone close to you. At this time, Whitebeard said boldly, listen up, Whitebeard pirates. You are bidding me farewell here. Everyone must stay alive. Return to the New World without incident. As soon as these words came out, all the pirates present were deserted. I'm really afraid of something coming. Didn't Ace be rescued already? Why are you saying goodbye to your pop all of a sudden? Pop, Pop. Do you want to die here? No, Pop. The pirates of the Whitebeard pirates are crying and howling. I am a remnant of the old era. Whitebeard's voice was willing, he looked at his sons, and said happily, go. Boys. As he said that, Whitebeard's energy surged. In line with the idea of do not use it when it is expired, it will become useless when it expires, Whitebeard frantically overdraws his vitality and uses the power of shock fruit with all his strength. Caw 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 caw. The atmosphere instantly cracked into a spider web. 2 powerful vibrating forces, like supersonic waves, swept along the air and quickly swept towards the Marine Ford building. The Marine Ford building, which was already dilapidated, finally couldn't support it anymore. Boom! Gunpowder smoke was everywhere, and the Marine Ford building, which had stood for hundreds of years, completely collapsed in a burst of smoke and dust. Then, Whitebeard slammed his fists down on the ground behind him. Rumble. The ground exploded instantly. Rumble rumble. A dull cracking sound quickly spread across the ground. Tu. Boom. The entire earth was split into two sections in an instant. An unfathomable chasm suddenly lay behind Whitebeard, separating him from the pirates. At the same time, it also blocked most of the chasing marines. Ah! Be careful! Marineford is going to be destroyed. Damn it! He wants to sink Marineford with the idea of dying together. Stop Whitebeard! Marine's side was deserted all of a sudden, yelling in horror. Once Marineford sinks to the bottom of the sea, no matter how powerful it is, without a ship, it will be a dead end. We can't leave Pop alone. Let's go back together. Pop, let's go together. None of the pirates in the Whitebeard pirate group wanted to leave Whitebeard behind, and they all shouted with flushed faces. But Whitebeard's face suddenly changed, and he shouted sternly, "Do you want to disobey the captain's order? Foolish boys, go away." When seeing Whitebeard's stern face, only then did the pirates of the Whitebeard pirates realize that the most powerful man in the world is not only their father, but also a super pirate who makes the whole new world fearful. It's their captain. On a ship, the captain's order is the biggest order. As long as you are a crew member, you have to follow the captain's orders unconditionally. And now, it is the captain's last order. If they don't even carry out this last order, Whitebeard will undoubtedly be the most humiliated. As sons, they don't want their father to lose face, and they don't want their father to be ridiculed. They actually know Whitebeard. Knowing that Whitebeard has embraced death today. Now that Pop has already made up his mind, if they continue to drag Whitebeard back, then what right do they have to keep calling Whitebeard Papa? Thinking of this, many pirates held back tears, gritted their teeth and turned around. Everyone follow the captain's order. Don't embarrass Pop. Do what my Pop said. Hurry up. Retreat. Protect Pop's last dignity. Obey and listen to Pop. This is the last time we can be obedient sons. The strong pirates dragged the hesitant pirates and dragged them back. Ace looked dull at this moment, looking at the figure of Whitebeard who was fighting alone. Ace! Don't disappoint Uncle's last wish. Luffy yelled loudly at the back of the motionless Ace. Commander Marco! Let's go! On the other side, other pirates were also shouting at the captains. In front of the big screen, the people who were watching this war were all shocked and speechless. The most powerful man in the world. Whitebeard actually chose to die with the headquarters, but he wanted to protect his sons. Thinking back to the previous scene where Marine slandered Whitebeard for betraying his family, everyone couldn't help laughing. Haha! Such Whitebeard, you think he will betray the seller? Dogs don't believe it. Whitebeard, you really deserve to be the strongest man. He is a real Pop, he is a real Pop. That's right. Even many biological fathers can't do this, right? Be confident, it's not a lot, it's a lot. Using your own life to protect the life of a child is easy to say, but it's very difficult when you actually do it. Ah! It's really scary. If it wasn't for the cute live broadcast girl who continued the live broadcast, we wouldn't be able to watch the follow-up when we saw Whitebeard being slandered as a seller. Damn it! Marine's trick is really insidious and vicious. If we hadn't seen this scene, then Whitebeard would be dead, and he would still bear the stigma. That's right, it's really wicked and smoldering to let a real master who is so righteous, bear the stigma of being a traitor. Bah! Marine, dogs don't want to be seen. People all over the world are venting their displeasure with Marine. Marineford. Sengoku frowned and the veins twitched, he's going to sink Marineford. Do you want to bring an end to the era? It is indeed time. Vice Admiral Garp emerged from the ruins, with blood on his head, and said seriously. Whitebeard looked at Logan beside him, grinned and said, "Gururera. Kid, why don't you leave? Are you pitying me, an old fellow? Don't get me wrong." Logan shrugged his shoulders, "A person like you has nothing to do with pity." Hearing Logan's words, Whitebeard appreciated Logan even more, "So, what are you still doing here?" Logan replied, "I just want to tell you, you'd better take another look at your sons." "No need, I have already said goodbye to them. Looking back, it would be too hypocritical. I don't want to see their sad looks anymore." Gurgling. Whitebeard smiled and chopped off a group of Marines with his sword. "Ah, you seem to have misunderstood again." Logan spread his hands and said, I mean, you should take a good look at them. Because it won't be long, they will almost all be killed. What? Whitebeard turned his head suddenly, and looked at Logan sharply. Boy! What do you mean? Ignoring Whitebeard's attitude, Logan continued, you think you saved them with your own life and protected them. But, once the Whitebeard pirates loses their leader, they will immediately challenge by the Emperor of the Sea, they like a sweet bun in the eyes of other overlords. I believe with your head, it should be easy to understand what kind of disaster the Whitebeard pirates will face without you. Blackbeard Teach, Kaido of the Beasts, Charlotte Linlin, even Ms. Barkin and Edward Weevil. Logan looked up and looked at the tall Whitebeard. Without your protection, how many do you think your sons can survive under the covetousness of these werewolves? Hearing this, Whitebeard's expression changed again. He only thought about saving his sons just now, but he didn't have the strength to think about the further future. But at this time, Logan gave him an analysis, and Whitebeard immediately realized the horror of the follow-up. If you really want to protect your sons, then you should make sure you are alive. As long as you are alive, even if you are only disabled, other forces will not dare to touch the Whitebeard pirates. As long as you live long enough, when the next generation can stand up, and then you can die, you will have no worries. Speaking of this, Logan turned around suddenly, and continued in a tone almost familiar, listen, Whitebeard. I admire you for your determination to die. But I think you just chose the most stupid decision. Whitebeard looks generous. There is a smile on his face, but he feels lonely. Shaking his head, he sighed, although I admit that what you said is right, but, I have been traveling for too long. As I said just now. In the new era, there is no longer a ship that can carry me. Simple words. Calm lines. But it is full of nostalgia and reluctance for this era, as well as, a deep sense of helplessness. Well said. Logan clapped his hands, and the ability to freeze cards was activated. Click. Ka 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 ka. A ice bridge immediately spanned both sides of the abyss. Logan stepped onto the ice bridge and walked towards the other side. But after taking 2 steps, he stopped and turned his head to look at Whitebeard, Edward Newgate. You said that there is no ship to carry you in the new era. Yes, it is true that there is no ship to carry you in the new era, but, there is your home. I have no other meaning, I just want to say something for those pirates, that home still needs you to protect it. Edward Newgate, those sons of yours can't hold up the castle. If you don't want to regret your actions today in hell, just follow along. Listen, to the Whitebeard pirates, your life is more important than anything else. Chapter 211. In the new era, no ship can carry Whitebeard, but there is his home. When these words fell into Whitebeard's ears, Whitebeard trembled violently. It was a tremor from the soul. His gaze was almost reflexively looking at everyone in the Whitebeard pirates. That's his family. If he dies, the various forces on the sea will quickly carve up his territory as if they are vying for a cake. And his stupid sons, one by one, will fight for the territory left by their father. By then, how many members of the Whitebeard pirates will survive? Although Ace, whom he placed high hopes on, is now saved, he hasn't fully grown up yet. Just like what Logan said, this family still needs him to protect it now. Thinking of this, Whitebeard's determination to die was shaken. Pop, let's go together. Yes, without you, what happiness do we have? Pop, we still have to take care of your retirement. Don't you want to see Ace's future son grow up? Don't you want to see if Marco's son has a pineapple head? Hey! I think Pop should want to see if Izua's son is more beautiful than Hancock. Pthahaha! Pop! Let's go together. When the people realized that Whitebeard's determination to die was shaken, they frantically launched a psychological offensive one by one. Seeing the atmosphere of his sons, Whitebeard's heart was even more shaken. But just when he was about to set foot on the bridge, he suddenly stopped. Sighing deeply, Whitebeard said in a deep voice, Logan boy, thank you. It's just, this war has to end. If it has to be between me and my sons, it should still be me. With that said, he turned to look at the battlefield, and shouted, Marine! Your opponent is only me. Logan smiled, if you're only thinking about ending the war, then you don't have to think about it. I have a plan for this. You have a plan? Whitebeard asked in surprise. He looked at Logan, what can you guys do in this chaotic scene? When you're looking at people through the cracks of the door. Sometimes, fewer people are not necessarily a disadvantage, but too many people may become a hindrance. As he spoke, Logan looked in the direction of the Going Merry, and said, "Robin, it's time to use that move." Nico Robin was standing outside the front of Going Merry's deck, in Luffy's state seat. She crossed her hands and flexed her fingers. Cienfleur, Field of Flowers. With the activation of her fruit ability, countless arms popped out on the ground crazily. These arms are combined in pairs, palms facing each other. Raise Nan. When Robin shouted again, they saw that all these palms had created an energy ball. A large amount of chakra is released crazily at this moment. Buzz buzz buzz. The bright and dazzling azure blue light balls are like a bunch of bright treasures. Rise up on the battlefields of Marineford. What is that? Aqua blue, what a beautiful ball of light. Dangerous. My mother told me that the more beautiful things are, the more dangerous they are. Hey! Isn't that about women? Damn it! There's a terrible atmosphere in the air. No matter if it is a marine or a pirate, when they see the countless azure blue energy light clusters condensed on the arm like a jungle flower sea, they are all fearful in their hearts. Bastard! What is that? Sengoku's eyes widened suddenly, and his entire face was covered with seriousness. Next moment, those countless palms pushed out the azure blue light sphere condensed into max at the same time. The speed is not too slow, probably slower than the speed of a bullet. But the power of these things seems to be much greater than bullets. Aokiji! Sengoku suddenly yelled. There are 3 black lines running down Aokiji's forehead. Sengoku yelled. Whenever there is something that can't be dealt with, Sengoku will definitely shout Aokiji. Aokiji didn't speak, and jumped up high, with both palms facing forward. The icy cold air spewed out crazily. The cold air met the Raise Nan in the blink of an eye. However, the Raise Nan that came all over the sky actually intersected with the cold air. It doesn't seem to work. Aokiji frowned and murmured. Yasakani no Megatama. Immediately Kizuru jumped into the air too. He transformed into a large number of light element particles, as his hands opened. Countless laser beams rained down. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The laser beam went straight through these Raise Nan, shooting the ground 100 times. Trouble. Vice Admiral Tsuru narrowed his old eyes and said solemnly, "This seems to be an energy attack, but it cannot be offset by elemental energies." Suddenly, Vice Admiral Tsuru seemed to have discovered something, and immediately analyzed, "Wait. These energy light spheres follow a parabolic trajectory, and it seems that the landing point is a bit forward." Hearing this, Sengoku also saw it. He immediately ordered loudly, "Stop chasing, retreat immediately, and avoid the impact of those energy attack." The marine soldiers are not stupid either. When they saw Raise Nan flying over just now, they were ready to evade. Now with Sengoku's order, they don't think too much, just run away. After a while, the sky-filled Raise Nan crashed to the ground. Boom! When the first Raise Nan hit the ground, a small mushroom cloud suddenly set off. Hiss! Seeing this scene, those marine soldiers who were still on the front line of the chase just now gasped hard. Scared? Because this is only the first one that came and it explode. And in that sky, the densely packed Raise Nan also landed. Boom! 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 When the spiral falls on the ground on a large scale, mushroom clouds burst up one after another. The terrible explosion power caused the entire Marineford to fall into violent shaking. Those who didn't know thought it was Whitebeard who activated the power of shock fruit. 10 meters in front of Whitebeard and Logan is the concentration area of the explosion. Countless mushroom clouds, carrying raging energy storms, completely sealed off the entire area. This scene made the faces of the marine soldiers chasing the front line extremely pale. They can imagine it, if they don't withdraw in time. Then at this time, they may even be dusted. It's terrible, fortunately, that woman's aim is not very accurate. Yes. If his control is more precise, it can completely cover our retreat route. It's really a blessing from the gods, we don't deserve to die. Are you stupid? What kind of god's blessing? What's the lack of accuracy? The person who can make such a large-scale group attack, she is not accurate enough. I can see it too, this Nico Robin clearly deliberately moved the impact point of these terrible energy bombs forward. She's being merciful, it's not that she's not accurate enough, idiots. Ah! Why did she show mercy to us? There's no reason. Yet, it stands to reason that everyone in her hometown died under Marine's buster call, so she should hate Marine so much. Hey! In fact, no one is a fool. Can't you see that this Nico Robin is not a child of the devil at all, but a pure and kind person? Hey, that's right. But if her heart was a little bit more vicious, at least a few hundred of us would have been blown to ashes. Amidst the sighs of the Marine soldiers, Raisin Gan's explosion slowly quieted down. When energy ripples and gunpowder storms spread. Hiss! Everyone sucked their hearts into their throats again. They saw that the bombed area has become completely dilapidated at this time. Bastards! They destroyed Marine Ford to such an extent. Sengoku punched hard and flew into a rage. It's dangerous. We almost lost hundreds of elites. Seeing that there were no casualties, Vice Admiral Tsuru breathed a sigh of relief. Vice Admiral Jun sighed slightly. I believe you can also see it, that is Nico Robin's mercy. Hush! Hearing this, Vice Admiral Tsuru immediately stared at Jun, and said in a deep voice, don't say anything that will affect the moral. On the deck of Going Merry, Nico Robin kept her hands crossed, and she shouted, stop chasing, Marine. With my strength I can do it again. Her words. A warning to Marine without a doubt. If they let it go, then they don't have to die anymore. If they still want to pursue, then she will not show mercy. When Robin's words spread throughout Marine Ford, Marine fell into a brief silence. A large number of Marine soldiers all set their sights in the direction of Sengoku at this time, waiting for the command of the Marine Fleet Admiral. Sengoku looks ugly. This battle so far. Marine can be said to have lost a lot. If forced to compromise now, Marine will probably become a big joke. Moreover, the order from the Mary Gosa. He did not even complete one. Retreat? Totally impossible. But facing the threat of Nico Robin, Sengoku also knew that once he continued to pursue, the number of casualties of Marine soldiers will skyrocket in a terrifying amount. This is also a scene that Sengoku does not want to see. Just when he was caught in a dilemma, a burly figure wearing a Marine Justice cloak climbed up from the abyss. Admiral! Admiral Akainu! Seeing that Sakazuki was not dead, many Hawk faction officers and soldiers shouted excitedly. Sakazuki was full of anger, he was covered in billowing smoke, like a diesel engine. He looked at Whitebeard and Logan in front of him, and shouted coldly, I can't spare such evil existences as pirates soon. Admiral is right. Destroy the pirates. Chase and kill the pirates, we will kill them all. Follow Admiral, go. All of a sudden, the officers and soldiers of the Hawk faction rushed up. Chapter 212. As Akainu raised his arms and shouted, the Hawk Marine rushed forward screaming like they had been injected with adrenaline. Even many Marine soldiers who were originally ambiguous rushed towards the pirates in this passionate atmosphere. It looks like someone doesn't want me to leave. Seeing the Marine rushing up, Whitebeard sighed and murmured, Boy Logan, go let me take care of them. Saying that, Whitebeard held his Murakumagari, facing the Marine who came like a tide. Just when he was about to fight to the death. Let's stop here. A slightly youthful cry suddenly resounded through Marine Ford. This sound directly let everyone's eyes turn to the source of the sound. Everyone looked over in unison, and saw an ordinary Marine soldier blocking Admiral Akainu's attack. Sakazuki is over 3 meters tall. And this Marine soldier is less than 1.7 meters tall. Such a disparity in height makes this Marine soldier look so tiny in front of Admiral Akainu. The camera of Mary also caught up in time, and immediately gave a close-up shot of the Marine soldier and Akainu in the same frame. FK. This is Marine. Nanny? Am I blind? I saw a Marine soldier stopping Marine Admiral. The melon-eating crowd in front of the big screens looked at the scene in front of them, and they were all shocked seeing what happened. This scene. Even if it is placed in the Lifetime series, it is definitely a top scene. That's Marine soldier. Kizaru's eyes widened, and he looked at the tiny figure standing in front of Akainu from a distance, showing an expression of disbelief. No way, it's Marine soldier. Marco also murmured in shock. As the person involved, Sakazuki's face was even more horrified. Looking at the Marine soldier in front of him, he even short-circuited his mind for a while. This Marine is the wrong person? Kobe. In the crowd of Marine soldiers, a Marine soldier who joined the Marine with Kobe was terrified at this time. He is Helmeppo, and he is the son of Captain Morgan, the former base captain of Shell Town. At this time, when he saw Kobe deflecting an admiral attack, the first reaction in Helmeppo's mind is, it's over. Kobe is over. Ah hey! It's Kobe! Luffy opened his mouth wide and yelled, get out of there! You're going to die! Damn! This idiot! Zoro also saw Kobe, and immediately frowned. Stop! Stop fighting, stop it! At this moment, Kobe opened his arms and stopped Akainu. He seemed to shout with all his strength, don't trample on life anymore. Why? Why are you still chasing pirates? They already shown mercy, attacking in such large area without killing any of us. Do we have to keep sacrificing our brethren? The outcome of this war is already doomed. Chasing and killing them at this time will only increase the sacrifices. Every soldier here has someone waiting for him to go home. Many soldier injure can be saved at this moment, but attacking and leaving them all to die, why do we have to sacrifice so much? Speaking of this, Kobe burst into tears. Overcoming the fear in his heart, he yelled at Akainu, like a fool. When Garp saw this scene, he felt bad in his heart. He knows Akainu too well. What saves people? What sacrifice? Totally worthless in Akainu's eyes. All he wants is absolute justice. As long as he can kill the pirates and all the forces that are against the world government, it is right for Akainu. No amount of sacrifice matters. And now Kobe has said something that seems to make sense, but for Akainu, these will undoubtedly have the opposite effect. Moreover, according to military law, even if Akainu killed Kobe, it would be reasonable. In fact, just as Garp thought, Akainu listened to Kobe's nonsense, and felt so angry. His bold words inspired the morale of the marine soldiers. And this soldier actually forcibly interrupted the momentum of Marine's pursuit. Simply unforgivable. What's more, you are so naughty, you are f-king me, aren't you slapping me in the face? In front of all the Marines and pirates, and live broadcast all over the world, attack me Marine Admiral Sakazuki? With the sound of biting his teeth, Sakazuki looked at Kobe as if he was looking at a dead body, you waste me a few seconds. Marine doesn't need someone like you. Saying that, Sakazuki swung his right fist. Rolling lava surged out of his arms, and scorching air waves rushed towards his face. Traitor! After talking a lot of nonsense, you can only die a miserable death in the end, go to hell. There was anger in Sakazuki's voice. But just as he was about to launch a fatal blow to Kobe, he saw Kobe pull out his own sword. Clutching the handle of the sword with both hands, pointing the sword point at Sakazuki, Kobe panted heavily and shouted nervously and bravely, although you are Marine Admiral, I will not sit still. Stop! Don't let more people die in this senseless pursuit. Stop! Let those comrades who can still be saved have a chance to live. Stop! If you are Marine Admiral, please cherish the lives of your subordinates. Sitsaizi. The moment he spoke, following Kobe's breathing, his whole body and the blade were immediately entwined with dense electric arcs. What? Nanny? That Marine, he has the courage to confront Admiral head-on. Crazy. Confronting Admiral, isn't that suicide? Damn. Although he must die, I think what he said is very reasonable. Yes, this war is over. If the war ceases at this time, the pirates will not attack again, and the injured Marine soldiers can also be treated in time. What's more, even if we continue to pursue, our Marine may not necessarily be the one that won. As he said, Nico Robin has shown mercy just now. But now, if Nico Robin is provoked, she will do the same energy bomb wash just now to large area of our comrades, and they all will be wiped out. Hey, he is such a warrior. Kobe's behavior touched the hearts of a large number of Marine soldiers. Especially when Kobe faced Akainu's magma attack, instead of having any idea of dodging, he held the sword and faced Admiral's attack directly. This boldness! If he don't fall today, he will definitely be a strong person in the future. Kobe! Luffy yelled and was about to rush over. Zoro was also extremely anxious, idiot! Don't die for nothing. However, Logan did not worry about Kobe, but felt his blood boil. The charm of this damned courage! It is impossible to ignore. He looked at Kobe's back. Facing the highest combat power of Marine, yet fearless attitude. As if a line of words floated from the sky. I got this. Chapter 213. Looking at Kobe who spoke boldly in front of him, Akainu wondered if he was hallucinating. Did the marine soldier in front of him suddenly become an idiot? Rumble. The blazing magma fist burned towards Kobe with an unbearably high temperature. Thunder breathing first form, thunderclap and flash. Zilala. With the sound of a rapid electric current, Kobe's body disappeared instantly like lightning. Boom. The blazing magma mercilessly hit the ground, instantly melting the solid granite into stone water. Then, the power of the explosion made these rocks that were burned into a hot solution splash up. On the ground, a deep pit as big as a house appeared. In the deep pit, lava is rolling, a sea of fire. Admiral's casual strike shows the power. Only. Kobe's figure appeared on the right side of Sakazuki. On his blade, there was still magma dripping. What? He cut Admiral's body? No way. He's just a soldier. Can he survive Admiral's wrath? Don't get me wrong. He didn't just survive Admiral's attack, but he was fighting against Admiral. On the battlefield of Marineford, whether it was pirates or marine soldiers, they were all shocked by Kobe's counterattack. Fighting against Admiral. Isn't that something only the four emperors can do? Even the commander of the Whitebeard pirates can only fight Admiral for a short period of time. Why can a marine soldier fight with an admiral? Damn thing! Looking at his cut waist, Sakazuki's face suddenly became extremely angry. Although this blow did not cause any harm to him, it is a great shame that the dignified admiral was cut open by an unknown marine soldier. Gilyalu. The lava flowed back, and Sakazuki's wounds were reconnected. Traitor! I will kill you! Taking a step forward, Sakazuki punched Kobe. Thunderclap and flash. Without thinking too much, Kobe activated the thunder breathing again. Don't think that the breath of thunder is weak just because Demon Slayer's combat power is low. In fact, they can improve the physique of ordinary people enough to kill demon. It is conceivable whether this method of breathing is powerful or not. And the physique of the people in One Piece is recognized as ridiculously strong. In terms of basic physique, the world of pirates even beats the world of Naruto. With such a physical foundation, and then practicing thunder breathing, the effect is definitely far greater. Kobe attacked again, and wanted to slash Sakazuki. But this time, just when his figure rushed to Sakazuki's side, an irresistible heat swept over. Sakazuki is admiral after all. Possesses an extremely powerful observation haki. He was hit by Kobe just now. In fact, there is a lot of reason because he was careless and didn't dodge. After all, who would have thought that a mere soldier would possess such powerful swordsmanship? Now, under the lock of the powerful observation haki, even though Kobe's speed is very fast, it has not yet reached the level enough to break through Sakazuki's observation haki. Boom! Magma attacked Kobe. Ah! Kobe let out a cry of pain and was immediately knocked to the ground. If he hadn't tried his best to block it with a blade full of lightning, he would be burned to charcoal by the magma now. Ah! Feeling the burn of the magma blast on his skin, Kobe cried out in pain. Sure enough, it was just a luck. In front of Admiral, a marine soldier has no chance at all. This is the fate of daring to speak against Admiral. He's done. Seeing Kobe being approached step by Sakazuki, the marine soldiers all thought that Kobe was finished. Even Logan felt that Kobe had no chance to make a comeback. When Kobe fought Sakazuki just now, Logan originally wanted to see how Kobe's breath of thunder performed in the battle, but he didn't expect to be instantly suppressed by Sakazuki. Suddenly, the magic power in his hand surged, and the shield of Clow appeared. In any case, he couldn't have watched Kobe die at the hands of Sakazuki without saving him. But at this moment, Kobe still roared loudly. Ah! Dash! This shout stunned Sakazuki for a moment. Kobe yelled, his face turned as red as a fire. He breathed heavily. His complexion didn't look very good, but his heart was beating fast. No way! Seeing this scene, Logan's face suddenly changed. Others don't know what happened to Kobe. But Logan know. Judging from Kobe's situation, his face was on fire, so his body temperature must be rising. And he was breathing heavily, and his chest was constantly rising and falling. Apparently, his heart is racing. No doubt. This is what happens when you practice the method of breathing, that is, Kisatsu Waza or the Demon Slayer mark. After awakening the Kisatsu Waza, it can greatly improve one's own combat ability. But there is also a big flaw. That is, once you awaken Kisatsu Waza, you will not live to be 25 years old. Although the physique of people in pirate world is different from that of Demon Slayer, Logan can't guarantee whether Koby can live beyond the age of 25 once he awakened Kisatsuaza. Thinking of this, Logan immediately went to stop Koby. Only. After all, it was too late. *A. Koby, who was originally lying on the ground, stood up straight. The aura of the whole person seems to be completely new. Especially in the center of his forehead, a cloud of fire like sunset is extraordinarily dazzling. Kizaru narrowed his eyes slightly, and said in surprise, "Woo, what's going on? Why does it feel like a different person? What happened?" "Koby!" Luffy yelled. Whitebeard said in a deep voice, "This kid's aura is obviously not as good as it was just now." Logan also noticed that Koby's strength had increased dramatically. However, his heart is very heavy. Logan don't know if the Kisatsuaza will have any effect in this world. How about giving Koby a chance to eat a devil fruit? If the side effects of the two curse exist at the same time, will the negative be positive? Just when Logan was thinking about it, Sakazuki showed a ferocious face. "Traitor, go to hell!" With a roar, Sakazuki's right arm turned into billowing lava. This melting rock condenses into a terrifying hound in an instant. Opening its bloody mouth wide, the lava dog bit Koby fiercely. Crimson Dog Bite. This time, Akainu's treatment of Koby was the same as Whitebeard's treatment. This shows how much Akainu wants to kill Koby. "Admiral! I still say that. Stop. I will not sit still." Koby's eye sockets are slightly condensed, and the Kisatsuaza lines on his forehead are like fire. At this time, under the sunshine, the Kisatsuaza seems to be able to breathe, and the color keeps beating, as if it is crazily absorbing the energy of the sun. Thunder's breathing third form, Thunder Swarm. Under the strengthening of the Madara pattern, Koby's whole body burst out like a tide of lightning in an instant. It's not the usual lightning like before. It's wave lightning. Swish! Koby disappeared in place. Chapter 214. Buzz Buzz. The air in Marineford was suddenly filled with a strange sound. It's like there are countless mosquitoes flying in the air. Swipe swipe swipe. Koby's figure is like a black lightning, spinning around Sakazuki at high speed. In an instant, Sakazuki's body was covered with wounds. Waves of thunder and lightning sizzled in these wounds. Koby took a deep breath and stopped 5 meters in front of Sakazuki. His physical stamina itself is very average, and he has already consumed a lot after experiencing such a large-scale battle just now. Now fighting Admiral again, and awakening Kisatsuaza, the consumption is even more crazy. He knelt on the ground on one knee, with the tip of a sword sticking to the ground, sweat dripping down his face. "Ah! ____." Sakazuki howled in pain, shaking violently all over. Those wavy lightnings danced in his wound, making Sakazuki's body bright. Looking at this situation, it looks like Sakazuki is about to explode from the body. No way! What kind of sword technique is this? It's so terrifying. He didn't use haki and still hurt Admiral Akainu in elemental state. Is he really just a marine soldier? Are marine soldiers' standards already this high? Seeing Koby who can rival Sakazuki, the people present were shocked. Clatter! The magma on Sakazuki's body dripped like plasma. But after a while, the magma reorganized, and Sakazuki recondensed the entity. "Damn, it's a shame to be wounded by a traitor like you." Sakazuki bared his teeth. Although there were no major scars left on his body, the damage caused by those wave lightning was indelible. Even if things go wrong on the scene, fighting is not a show after all. The one who can stand to the end is the only winner. Compared with the weak rookie Koby, Sakazuki has been fighting in this sea for decades. He is the pinnacle of fighting power. Even after fighting till now, he is still full of energy. On the other hand, Koby was sitting on the ground paralyzed while taking a deep breath. Sakazuki's arm turned into billowing lava, facing Koby was a lava-shot great eruption. Die! Filled with Akainu's angry blow, the entire sky was dyed red by this terrifying magma. Facing the lava great eruption that was about to harvest his life, Koby's face was full of fear. He was thinking indiscriminately in his mind, "It's over, I'm going to die. But I've already expressed my ideas, and I can die without regrets." Rumble! The lava was flying across the sky, full of aura of destruction. A shield floated in the palm of Logan in the distance. He was about to make a move when he got annoyed. Logan's observation Haki suddenly noticed a figure shooting towards him instantly. It's him. Here comes the man who feeds the fish with his left arm. Since he's here, we can't let people make a trip in vain. What should be shown has to be shown by others. Boom. Watching the lava great eruption about to fall on Kobe's face. Bang. A sword lay in front of Kobe like a fairy flying from the sky. Why? What? The moment Shanks appeared, the entire battlefield was in shock. Well done. Young Marine. You risked your life to stop this short half-minute, and successfully extinguished the sign that this war was about to reignite. Shanks holds a sword in one arm, but is as calm as a mountain, making Sakazuki's lava unable to take an inch of strength. Ah! That's Redhead Shank of the Four Emperor. No way. Another four emperors in this war. What's going on? Isn't it the war between the Whitebeard pirates and Marine? Why is the red-haired Shanks here too? Red-haired Shanks and Admiral Akainu fought. Does this mean that the all-out war between pirates and Marines is about to begin? It's not just red-hair Shanks. Look, it's the red-hair pirates ship, Red Force. The entire crew of red-hair pirates is here. Are we going to witness the demise of Marine? What nonsense are you talking about? Don't underestimate Marine's strength. Even if 4 emperors want to destroy Marine, I'm afraid they have to fight with their lives. 4 emperors? You are an idiot. Take a good look, the Straw Hat pirates are not a decoration. In my opinion, their strength is enough to match the main combat power of 4 emperors. Yet, if it's an all-out war, Marine's crisis will be even greater. Sabayati Archipelago, the people who were watching this battle turned into a group of keyboard warriors, constantly analyzing the situation on the battlefield. Marine Ford. Redhead. The guy who led Luffy into the pirate way. Garp watched Shanks from a distance, his 2 rows of big teeth rattling. Sengoku looked at this situation, and his face was dark. It turned out to be the red-hair pirates. Vice Admiral Tsuru's face was serious and she felt a little dizzy. Vice Admiral Kamal, you just had a conflict with Kaido yesterday, and you're here in the blink of an eye. Damn it! How did he appear here? Vice Admiral Doberman gritted his teeth and said in a low voice. At this time, Shanks looked in the direction of Marine. I'm here to end this war. If this battle continues, neither side will benefit, and it will only increase the casualties of the 2 armies. Having said this, Shanks' complexion sank, and he said in a serious tone, everyone present, please do me a favor. Listening to Shanks yelling such a sentence, Logan raised his eyebrows. Now that this sentence has been shouted, it seems that this war is really over. In the entire One Piece, as long as Shanks yells this sentence, no matter how strong or powerful the other party is, it seems to give him face. Of course, except Buggy. King Clang. Mihawk put his sword back. He looked at Zoro, Roronoa Zoro. Today's battle has no results, but this is not a suitable battlefield for us to continue fighting. I agree with your view. Then, let's suspend this battle for now. When we meet next time, I will challenge you again. Zoro nodded. His spiritual power converged, and the phantom of Kuina on his body also dissipated. Wados were put into the sheath in response. In today's battle, Zoro always has regrets in his heart. Because even though he has practiced Bankai, when he tried to use Bankai, there was still something missing, something that haven't been put to its limit. But as long as he is given some more time, he believes that he will be able to find the reason. Roronoa Zoro. Will your pirate group go to New World? I'll be waiting for you to challenge. With that said, Mihawk turned and walked towards the shore. Mihawk. Where are you going? A Marine Vice Admiral saw it and immediately shouted. I only agreed to fight the Whitebeard pirates, but the red-hair pirates are out of the deal. Looking back coldly, leaving behind these cold words, Mihawk left. Vice Admiral Doberman was furious, he yelled angrily, we can't just let the Whitebeard pirates go away easily like this. However, as soon as he finished speaking, he heard Sengoku's voice in his ear, it's okay. Fleet Admiral. Doberman was shocked. Sengoku directly picked up the radio. Den Den Mushi, this war, it's time to end. I will bear the responsibility. The next moment, he immediately shouted, hurry up and treat the wounded. It's over. Although there was no shouting like this on the battlefield, the hearts of those ordinary pirates and soldiers shouted more and more excitedly. Chapter 215. Seeing the Marine soldiers getting busy, Logan shrugged his shoulders and joked. Grrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr least not yet. They all belong to mutually independent and hostile camps. But this time, the Whitebeard pirates undoubtedly accepted a favor from the Red Hair pirates. Not only the scene of war that happened in front of him, but also the incident when Shanks met with Whitebeard alone and persuaded him to recall Ace immediately. At this time, Whitebeard connected the two things together. Obviously, Shanks did not want the Whitebeard pirates to have major turmoil. Of course, Whitebeard wouldn't be so naive as to think this was Shanks' courtship. He is one of the 4 emperors, even the youngest of the 4 emperors, he still is a major powerhouse. But no matter what Shanks' purpose is, if he intervenes successfully, the Whitebeard pirates will save hundreds or even thousands of people from dying. Whitebeard, as a man of great righteousness, would never ignore this great kindness. Okay, let's go back to the ship first. Logan made a reminder and headed towards Going Merry. On the deck of the Going Merry. When Logan boarded the deck, the crew had almost returned. Robin, remove those blooming arms, your stamina exertion is too serious. Coming to Robin, Logan spoke. The ninjutsu that Robin knows, Logan also knows. Logan could understand how much these ninjutsu consumed chakra. It can also be said that Logan is the only one who understands how big Robin's overdraft is at this time. Seeing that Logan had returned, Robin finally breathed a sigh of relief. She believes that as long as Logan is there, no one can harm the Straw Hat pirates. With a light exhortation, Robin's face suddenly paled sharply, and the sweat was like washing down. Clatter! The multiple arms that blocked the marine soldiers, like the grass that had been mown, all disappeared in an instant. When Robin retracted her arms, Robin's whole body was like a deflated ball, which lost its support all of a sudden, and directly collapsed on Logan's body. Logan was about to tease Robin for taking advantage of him, but he found that Robin fell asleep on his shoulder. Robin! Robin-chan! Beautiful Miss Robin! Everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates surrounded them nervously. Don't worry. Robin is exhausted and overdrawn, and she just collapsed from exhaustion. Seeing this, Logan hugged Robin horizontally. Everyone continue to maintain vigilance. When Luffy arrives, we will retreat with the other 2 pirate groups. I will send Robin to rest now. Coming to Robin's room, Logan put Robin on the soft mattress. He looked at Robin's slightly pale cheeks, and whispered with some love, "It's really hard for you today, take a good rest." After covering Robin with the sheet, Logan is ready to go to the deck. Outside, Luffy dragged Ace and ran all the way, and finally came to Going Merry. Ace! Get on my ship first. Luffy pulls Ace and is about to jump onto the ship. No, Luffy. I have to see Pop. Although Ace wanted to be with Luffy badly, Whitebeard was very much on his mind right now. He had seen Whitebeard's wounds on the battlefield just now. Especially when Whitebeard was going to sacrifice himself to cover for the whole Whitebeard pirates, at that time Ace really thought it was the last time to see Whitebeard. Now that the road has turned around, Ace can't wait to run to Pop's side immediately. Of course, the younger brother is also very important. Otherwise, Ace wouldn't have followed Luffy all the way to Going Merry. Regardless of Luffy's strength, Ace, as the big brother, subconsciously escorted his younger brother to Going Merry. Now that his brother has arrived safely, Ace of course wants to get back to Whitebeard quickly. Okay. See you at Sabayati Archipelago. Luffy is not willing to part with Ace at this time. But he was educated by Logan before, as a captain, he must unite with the crew at critical times. So at this time, even if Ace is a big brother, Luffy must stay on his ship. As the pirates began to bore their own pirate ship on a large scale, the Red Hair pirates, Whitebeard pirates, and Straw Hat pirates began to retreat slowly. This is such a simple action. But in fact, it is a process that make all of them to not dare to relax at all. Because at this time, it is the time when the fighting spirit is at its lowest. If the enemy launches a counterattack, the consequences will be unimaginable. It only took half a day to retreat from Crescent Harbor to the distance beyond the Gate of Justice. Of course, the subsequent retreat route will be smooth. Not long after the withdrawal of the 3 big pirate groups, several warships of the world government arrived at Marineford from a special route. Fleet Admiral Vice Admiral Tsuru yelled Sengoku before setting his sights on the safe harbor behind Marineford. The ship of the government of the world. Seeing the flag on the ship, Sengoku frowned. Although the distance from Marie Joyce to Marineford is not far, if you arrive at Marineford now, at least you set off a few hours ago. Sengoku thought about it, probably when the Tenryuabito were taken out by Logan, these warships from the world government set off from Marie Joyce. As Sengoku expected, several CP-0 agents appeared on the warship, followed by a large number of CP-8 and CP-7 fighters and killers. Where are the CP-0 people? The CPO with the yin and yang eye mask asked as soon as he stepped on the ruins of Marineford. Watch your attitude. Who do you think you're talking to? Vice Admiral Tokicake stood beside Sengoku, staring coldly at the CPO with the yin and yang eye mask. Ha, a mere fleet admiral dare to question us. The CPO with the yin and yang eye mask sneered, and he glanced at Vice Admiral Tokicake contemptuously, then looked at Sengoku, and asked again, where's the person? Sengoku is very upset about CP-0's attitude. However, Marine and CP-0 are parallel organizations under the World Government Council, and there is no hierarchy between them. It can be said that no one can control anyone. But there is one exception. That is, when there is a special order from the government of the world, the party with the order can hold authority to the other party. And the CP-0 in front of him speaks so arrogantly, obviously given the authority. Taking a deep breath, Sengoku adjusted his mentality and said coldly, they are retreating. What? How long has it been since such a large-scale war? The other party has been completely wiped out. Hearing this, the CPO with the yin and yang eye mask raised his voice, hee. Sengoku. In other words, when the pirates evacuated, your marines are scared to do anything. Hey. Hearing this, Sengoku is angry. Damn it. Immediately, Sengoku was furious, it's not your place to talk about our marine affairs. Hee. Tell 5 elders what you said. The CPO with the yin and yang eye mask sneered, and stared at Sengoku with mocking eyes, it's really a group of coward. Watching the murderers who killed the Tenryuabito retreat safely without stopping them, it's really a waste of feeding you dogs. As soon as his words fell, the ground shook for a while. The CPO with the yin and yang eye area was embedded in the ground, the mask exploded, and the head swelled into a square. Garp didn't know when he appeared here, he rolled up his sleeves and cast his eyes on several other CPOs. Although each CPO is a loyal dog of the government of the world, it does not mean that they will not be afraid. Facing Garp, who was showing such a cruel gaze at this time, these people's throats were dry for a while, and they subconsciously took a few steps back. The guys who were so arrogant just a moment ago, but now they dare not say a word of bullshit. Seeing this scene, many Marines immediately thought of what Logan said when he executed the Tenryuabito on the execution platform. Chapter 216. Sabayati Archipelago. Here they come. They're coming this way. My god. It's really the 4 Emperors' Grand Fleet. Not only the Whitebeard pirates, but also the Red Hair pirates appeared from the ship. Hey, hey, hey. The ship between the Moby Dick and the Red Force is the Going Merry of the Straw Hat pirates. Hey. The flagships of the 2 4 Emperors groups are escorted in the middle, and the Straw Hat pirates are definitely the strongest among the supernovas this year. What? Supernova? Please. Are you comparing Supernova to the Straw Hat pirates? Are you out of your mind? Pfft. It seems to be true. Although the Straw Hat pirates have several supernovas this year, but after this battle, if anyone still treats them as a supernova, then they are pure fools. They're coming in the direction of the groove 50 to 59. They should be preparing for coating, right? Oops. Let's go to another island immediately. Those people are all famous big pirates in New World. If we accidentally offend them, we will die. Whoa. Run. The pirates and melon eaters who were watching on the shore reacted suddenly and ran away in fright. Not long. When the pirate ships that dominate the New World arrive one after another, there is no ship on the coast of the 10 Groove 50 to 59. These 10 Groove are mainly engaged in shipbuilding, ship repairing and coating business. At this time, this is exactly what the 3 big pirate groups need. Red Force pirate ship. Shanks and the others were about to disembark when they heard an overjoyed voice, Shanks. Whoosh. There seems to be the sound of rubber bands stretching in the air. Then they saw a figure landed on the deck of the Red Force, and it was Luffy. Hey! Luffy. Lucky Roo gnawed on a big meat stick, his face was full of fat, and his small eyes were full of excitement. It's Luffy. Usopp also spoke. Wow, look who this is. Isn't this the little brat crying and clamoring to go to sea with us? Ha ha ha. They are all old acquaintances. After meeting, the cotters of Red Hair Pirates did not save face for Luffy, and directly started to talk about Luffy's dark history. I didn't expect it, Luffy, we agreed to meet in New World, but unexpectedly we met earlier. Shanks showed a wry smile. At East Blue, he bet his future on Luffy for an arm. They made a promise with Luffy that when he becomes a strong pirate, that they will meet in New World. But Shanks never imagined that they would meet today, when Luffy has only been out at sea for about half a year. And the meeting place is Marineford and Sabayati Archipelago. Although it is a little different from what was agreed at the beginning, the time and place are not the key. The key to the agreement lies in Luffy's strength, and can the fruit of Luffy be awakened? Regarding the awakening of Rubber Fruit, very few people know the inside story. And Shanks is one of them. It was no accident that he snatched this devil fruit from the secret escort ship of the world government. The secret to the importance of this devil fruit comes from Raftel. Before Roger turned himself in, he entrusted Shanks with his straw hat, and at the same time told Shanks what he had seen and heard in Raftel. Why do you say Roger Pirates went to Raftel early? The reason is that Joy Boy has not yet appeared. And what Roger entrusted to Shanks was mainly to find Joy Boy. After getting the rubber fruit, Shanks still has no clue about this matter. But Roger told him that rubber fruit is completely different from other fruits. This fruit will choose his user. Before he surrendered, he told Shanks not to force him, but to follow fate. When the devil fruit was accidentally eaten by Luffy, Shanks was shocked. After careful consideration, Shanks thinks that Luffy is very likely to be the chosen one. So, in order to lead Luffy into the pirate guidance, he gambled his left arm. But he never imagined that Luffy, who has been at sea for less than a year, would awaken rubber fruit. At this moment, Shanks was secretly happy. Captain Roger, I seem to bet right. However, Shanks also understands that Luffy's fruit awakening must have attracted the attention of the world government. It's not a good thing for Luffy. No matter how powerful the lion is, he must be careful when being targeted by hyenas. What's more, the government of the world is not a hyena, it is a hyena organization composed of densely packed hyenas. Then, should he protect Luffy now? Rubbing his chin slightly, Shanks thought. After thinking about it for a while, Shanks immediately dismissed the idea. Not to mention that Luffy would not agree with this proposal. What's more, Captain Roger once told him that rubber fruit is very spiritual, and he should follow the fate. Luffy hasn't arrived at Raftel yet, and if he, Shanks, forces his way in, it could be counterproductive. That's all. It's better to wait and see what happens. Thinking of this, Shanks looked at Luffy. Luffy, do you have a Vivre card? Ah! I have it. Luffy was stunned for a moment, then took out his Vivre card from his small satchel. This is what Logan helped him make. Shanks didn't talk nonsense, directly tore off a corner, then took out his Vivre card, tore off a piece, and handed it to Luffy. Good. Luffy stuffed it into the small satchel like a baby. Luffy. At this time, Ace's voice came from the Moby Dick next door. Ace. Seeing Ace going over to him, Luffy excitedly gave Ace a bear hug. Shanks, let me introduce you, this is Shank. Luffy pulled Ace and introduced him enthusiastically. Hey, Ace, how are you? Shanks greeted Ace warmly. It's great to be able to see you again. In the past you had been taking care of my little brother, and this time Summit War I have received your great favor again, thank you so much. Ace came in front of Shanks, and bowed at 90 degrees to Shanks. Shanks smiled, ha ha ha. Old friends don't be a stranger. Hey! Hearing this, Luffy was stunned. Old friend? He immediately asked, you have known each other for a long time. Shanks was non-committal, then smiled and said, Luffy, you have a big brother who really cares about you. Ace scratched his head and smiled, before I joined the Whitebeard Pirates, I paid a special visit to Shanks. It turned out to be like this. Luffy understood, and suddenly felt a burst of warmth. How's Whitebeard's injury? At this time, Shanks asked a more serious topic. Ace's complexion also became serious, and he said in a deep voice, Pop was seriously injured in the Summit War, and he was already seriously ill, and the illness and injury damaged him at the same time, which made the situation worse. Very bad. Speaking of this, Ace couldn't hide the sadness on his face, but then he took a deep breath, but the only good news is that Pop's life is not in danger for the time being. As soon as Ace said this, there was a noise on the deck of the Moby Dick. Everyone looked over, and it turned out that Logan went to the deck of the Moby Dick. Luffy, is that your crewmate? Shanks looked at Logan's profile. This was the first time he noticed Logan, and a surprised expression appeared in his eyes. The strong have a very keen sense of smell. With just one glance, he concluded that Logan is a very powerful person. So, he whispered, a man like him is willing to be your first officer. Luffy, you are so lucky. Do you think so too? Wow, haha. Me too. Hearing Shanks praise Logan, Luffy's back molars were all exposed. Yet, Logan is the strongest among the Straw Hat pirates. He have been helping Luffy to grow stronger, he even helped me too, if not then it might be harder for me to escape. Ace followed suit. Oh? You know him too? Shanks was curious. He just judged by his first impression and the sense of smell of the strong. But Ace seems to be very familiar with Logan, and his evaluation is so high. Ace nodded, yes. It's a long story. In short, he is a very miraculous person, a man with manga fruit ability, and the fruit ability developed by him is beyond miracles. Oh. Shanks looked interested. The other side. On the deck of the Moby Dick, Logan came, accompanied by Kaya. It's you, the deputy captain of the Straw Hat Pirates. Marco is treating Whitebeard's injury. He is a mythical Zoan Phoenix user, and he has a very great recovery ability. However, when this recovery ability is used on others, the effect will be greatly reduced. Because the Straw Hat Pirates had just joined forces with the Whitebeard Pirates, everyone's attitude was relatively friendly. But at this moment, Logan walked straight towards the seriously injured Whitebeard, immediately alerting several commanders. Someone even consciously stood on the road in front of Logan. Gurururura. You are here. Whitebeard opened his eyes, saw Logan, and smiled happily. To see if my old bones can hold on. Whitebeard forced a smile and wanted to make a joke, but the serious injury immediately caused a severe cough. Logan smiled, why don't you say that you are lucky? Your injuries happen to be what Kaya is good at. Hey? Wait. Hearing Logan's words, Marco's eyes lit up. He said emotionally, you mean, the ship doctor on your ship can treat the old man's damage? Suddenly, he looked at Kaya in surprise. Could this weak-looking girl be the ship's doctor? Gurururura. Whitebeard grinned, I am aware of my own injury. Even with surgery, it is difficult to be effective. People say that older people are more stubborn, I think it's true. Logan spread his hands and said with a smile, Captain Whitebeard, you have come home so hard, do you really not want to try Kaya's medical skills? Whitebeard almost died in Marineford. Now that he can go home, if he die like this, what is the point of going home? For the sake of this family, he should actively go to treatment. Thinking of this, Whitebeard leaned on the handle of the chair, propped himself up, and gurgled. Then I will thank you. But Logan showed a smile at the corner of his mouth, don't rush to thank me, I plan to charge you. Gurururura. There is a fee, then you are looking for the wrong person. I have no money. Whitebeard immediately spread his hands. He's not talking nonsense, but he really has no money. As long as he has money, he will send it all to his hometown. Therefore, although it is the Four Emperors group, Whitebeard himself is really poor. Logan smiled, it doesn't matter, your sons are rich. With so many Whitebeard sons, it would be a lot of money for one person to scrape together. How much, how much? At this time, Yozuo asked in a low voice. Logan raised 2 finger. 2 million. Seeing this number, Yozuo was a little surprised, but it was still acceptable. Nanny. Logan's face deformed, look at your father, he is going to die. You sons, you only pay 2 million in total? If I were Whitebeard, I would beat you to death, these unfilial sons. All the commanders suddenly turned black. But there seems to be nothing to refute. Okay. 20 million is 20 million. We are not stingy people. Logan, as long as you can make Pop's injury better, 20 million bellas will be yours. Marco said proudly. At this time, Shanks, Luffy, and Ace also walked over the string bridge at this time. With Whitebeard's injury, 20 million is really not expensive. Shanks commented honestly. Luffy grinned, wow haha. Don't worry, Logan is very reliable. Well, yes. Hearing that Pop's injury was saved, Ace said excitedly, as long as Pop's injury can get better, don't say 20 million, even 30 million. We must also give him. But at this moment, Logan frowned. Ah, are you all the commander of the Whitebeard pirates so stingy? Nanny? Hearing this, the captains gritted their back molars at once. What do you mean? Did you mean 200 million? Hey, hey, hey! Are you stealing money? Even for the most unscrupulous doctor, it is impossible to charge more than 10 million bellas, right? We are willing to give 20 million bellas. This is not nonsense. Basically, the commander and pirates on Whitebeard pirates exploded. When they thought they had seen the biggest unscrupulous guy in the world, Logan shook his head, and then said unhurriedly, 2 billion belly and all of Whitebeard injuries will be cured. Puff. Shanks had just arrived at the Moby Dick, hearing this suddenly spit out. Chapter 217. Nanny. Marco's sleepy eyes, which he couldn't wake up for 10,000 years, are now staring round like two eggs. Yozu's eyes widened even further. An expression as if he had seen a ghost appeared on his face, and his eyes were full of disbelief. Boy! What nonsense are you talking about? What disease needs 2 billion berries? Damn it! You're here to mock us. 2 billion? Don't even think about it. Are you trying to scam us? Outrageous price! Upon hearing the outrageous price, all the commander jumped up. If it weren't for the fact that Logan was their ally who fought side by side, these guys would probably have already fight Logan. Logan, the price is outrageous. Ace walked quickly to Logan's side. He has always been very grateful to Logan. Not only did Logan give him manga books and let him practice fire dragon magic. And this summit war, the participation of the Straw Hat pirates, on the surface they are fighting for Luffy, but in fact, they are also his Ace's savior. The most important thing is that the Straw Hat pirates have the brain of Logan, so Ace doesn't have to worry about Luffy. Just hearing this price, Ace doesn't want to blame Logan for anything. Really expensive. I know that your pirate group has just been established for less than a year, so it must be very short of money. You are our friends, and we will definitely not be stingy. Logan, if you can really make Pop's injury better, the entire Whitebeard pirates will raise money for you. I dare not say too much, but a few billion bellies can still be raised. Do you think this will work? Ace said that, on the one hand, he was bargaining for Logan. On the other hand, it is actually speaking for Logan. After all, the price of 2 billion bellas has obviously made everyone's impression of Logan drop sharply. Ace now wants to quickly ease the atmosphere. Luffy also came over. Logan, this uncle is a good man, why don't we avoid it? Before he finished speaking, Logan covered his mouth. Wipe. You idiot. If you are not in charge of your home, you don't know how expensive firewood, rice, oil, and salt are. Originally, Logan didn't care about money, but after raising Mary, the money was seriously not enough. Little Mary's ration is too expensive. Not to mention anything else, the trunk of the precious tree atom, worth 200 to 300 million belly, was dried up by Mary in one meal. When we got to the Fishman Island, Logan was still thinking about the Sunlight Tree Eve. Considering Sunlight Tree Eve particularity to the Fishman Island, Logan definitely cannot steal Sunlight Tree Eve directly. His idea is to go to Neptune, the king of the Fishman Island, to buy some branches of the Sun Tree Eve. Of course, even if this is the case, it is estimated that it is impossible for others to agree. But Logan has some plans in mind, and it shouldn't be a big problem by then. Luffy, don't worry about this matter. The price I gave is very conscientious. Letting go of Luffy's mouth, Logan looked at Ace and the captains, and continued, maybe you didn't hear clearly? I'm not talking about making Whitebeard's injury better, but completely curing all of Whitebeard's injuries and diseases. Return you a healthy Whitebeard. I don't need to explain how valuable this is to you Whitebeard pirates. When Logan reiterated the point of his speech again, everyone shifted their attention from 2 billion to complete cure. Wait. You're saying Pop's body can fully recover? Ace grabbed Logan's hand excitedly and asked nervously. Logan nodded. Is it really possible? Marco also got excited at this time, and his palms were trembling. Hey! Pop's injuries are serious. Are you sure you can completely heal these injuries? There's also Pop's disease. It's been a chronic illness for more than 10 years, and Pop's body is constantly being eaten away. Can this also be cured? Boy Logan, even if you make up a story, you have to make it closer to the truth. The commander obviously have reservations about this complete cure. After all, this kind of thing is completely beyond their imagination. If Pop's injuries can be completely cured, then for the past 10 years, Pop has been hanging water, giving injections and taking medicine day and night, isn't he just like a fool? Hearing the commander's questions, Logan pouted, Luffy, tell them, what is my occupation? Aha! Occupation. Luffy was taken aback for a moment, and then said, oh, you are the mangaka of our Straw Hat Pirates. Did you hear that? Logan looked at the captains again and spread his hands, so, I can only draw mangas, not make up stories. The captains were dumbfounded. Good guy. Is this the point? Everyone, calm down. Ace quickly blocked Logan and the captain's vice-admiral. He took Logan's hand and said earnestly, Logan. Don't mind, they just don't understand you, so they question you. I believe you, since you said that you can completely cure Pop's injuries, then you can definitely do it. Afterwards, he patted his chest and said to the captains, everyone. I can guarantee it with my life. Logan is really a person who can do what he says. Since he said it, then he can really do it. Heal Pop's injury. This 2 billion bellas, in exchange for a healthy father. Isn't it worth it? Worth it? Marco immediately patted his thigh in response. If we say, who in the entire Whitebeard pirate group cares about Pop the most? Definitely Marco. Even if it is Ace, you have to move back a little bit. Vista also gritted his teeth and said, if it can really cure Pop completely, 2 billion it is. Yozu said seriously, if Pop can be cured, I will take out all my savings for so many years. I took all my money too. That's right. Everyone has the money to pay, but they don't have the money to borrow. No matter what, the 2 billion must be given to him. The commander may not believe Logan's words, but they will not disbelieve Ace's words. Now that Ace has said so, they believe that Logan can really completely heal Whitebeard's injury. They are willing to do anything for their father. I disagree. Just when everyone's opinions reached a consensus, a discordant voice was heard. It was Whitebeard himself. Pop. Pop. The commander had surprised looks on their faces. Gururera. How can I spend all his son's savings to treat my illness? Whitebeard smiled, and then looked at Logan. Logan boy, you can ask your ship doctor to treat me casually. The old man can still hold on with this body. Pop. We took the money voluntarily. Namor, the commander of the 8th Division, said. Commander Blenheim of the 9th Division also immediately said, yes. Pop, this injury must be healed. In the past, even if we had money, we couldn't find a doctor to treat it. Now we finally have the opportunity, so we can't miss it. Ah. Pop, just listen to us this time. Vista said earnestly. Stop talking, the old man has made up his mind. Whitebeard picked up a bowl of wine and downed it. But because of the injury, he coughed violently again. Captain, you must take good care of your body. Captain, you are getting a treatment this time, you have to cooperate at this time. Several leopard nurses persuaded with concern. Is this what you said you could hold on to? Logan rubbed his forehead, looked like he was having a headache, and joked, I said Whitebeard, you are so selfish. Nanny. As soon as these words came out, Whitebeard put down the wine bowl in his hand, his eyes widened. Boy! Be careful what you say. Pop is not a selfish person. The reason why he has no money is because he spends money. Pop is so kind to us, he is not a selfish person at all. The commanders were not happy either. The atmosphere suddenly became tense again. Don't feel wronged, I'm telling the truth. In this summit war, everyone in the world has seen your love for your sons and your father's love like a mountain. As if not seeing the faces of the Whitebeard pirates, Logan continued, but now, when your children want to show filial piety to you, you go and decline it. What does it mean? Only allow your father to love? Don't allow your sons to be filial. Well, when you die, the world will know that there was such an opportunity in front of you, but the Whitebeard pirates are unwilling to take the money. Think about it. At that time, your sons will be scolded for being unfilial. If you want me to say, during the Summit War, you were like a mountain of fatherly love. But when it comes to dealing with the current matter, your fatherly love is like a mountain falling apart. Listen, Whitebeard. A loving father and a loving son, that's perfect. Be a truly loving father and give your sons a chance to be filial. Also let your sons enjoy the praise of being called filial sons. Logan said such a big deal in a long-winded manner, but in fact, to put it bluntly, it is just to make money. Originally, the commander were willing to pay, but the person involved was not happy. It seems that it is not easy to make money by crafting, not only craftsmanship, but also eloquence. In contrast, catching pirates and exchanging bounties is much easier. Pop. Just give us a chance to be filial. We have been taken care of by you for many years, we also want to be a dutiful son. If your injury worsens because we didn't get money for your treatment today, our conscience will be disturbed. Yet, in the years to come, we will all spend it in self-blame. Pop. Don't hesitate anymore. The commanders also prayed earnestly. They have to say, Logan's words really put Whitebeard on the line. As for his own affairs, Whitebeard could care less. But if his own child bears the notoriety of being unfilial because of this, Whitebeard would rather die than have such a thing happen. He fell into deep thought. After a while, he raised his head to look at Logan, and immediately grinned, "Gururara. You kid said it so nicely, I don't even think about it, who asked for these 2 billion bellas? Damn it! Can't it be cheaper?" When Logan heard this, he immediately felt happy. With Whitebeard's character, since he wants to bargain, it means that he has agreed in his heart. But Logan sighed suddenly, "Hey, every family has its own hard-to-read scriptures. Whitebeard, I am actually the same kind of person as you. You care about your son, and I also care about mine. Do you think I want 2 billion for myself? Actually, I don't need any of this money myself. It's all for my daughter's food expenses." Pfft! You're lying to a ghost. Whitebeard rolled his eyes and said, 2 billion for food expenses. No, it's just a daughter. But she has a big appetite. She ate nearly 300 million belly in one meal. Logan said, and then pointed to Luffy, "If you don't believe me, you can ask him, he won't lie." Luffy nodded, "Ah, yes. The food that Mary ate last time did cost more than 200 million bellas. More than 200 million bellas. Vista opened his mouth wide, "I can't save so much money for this meal in my life. So, if the price is concerned, don't cut it down. It's really conscientious." Logan spread his hands, grinning slightly, "However, I can offer you a special, buy one get one free." Buy one get one free? 2 such opportunities for treatment? In this way, on average, it is equivalent to 1 billion times? Whitebeard thought to himself, this seems to be okay. But the next moment, he almost burped out a mouthful of old blood. I only heard Logan say, "Buy a treatment, get a manga book as a gift." All the commander were dumbfounded. Mangas? What the hell are you talking about? But the moment Logan said this, Ace hastily shouted, "Pop, promise him." Chapter 218. Pop, promise him quickly. When he heard that Logan could present a manga book to Whitebeard, Ace jumped up excitedly. If it wasn't for the fact that the 2 billion funds hadn't been raised yet, he would have put the 2 billion directly into Logan's hands immediately, and the deal was done. What? Yozo looked at Ace with a confused face, and said incredulously, "Ace, didn't you hear clearly? This guy said that buy one get one free, but it's not medical treatment that is free but a manga. What's the use of that thing?" Atmos, the captain of the 13th squad, also said, "Yes, what can a manga book do? Our Pop doesn't read mangas." Speed Gyru, the captain of the 14th squad, curled his lips, obviously thinking that the gift of a manga book is just a joke. "No. Stop talking." Ace hurriedly stopped the captains from chattering, and then looked at Whitebeard, "Pop, believe me, this deal is definitely profitable for us. I guarantee it with my life." "Ace, are you sure you're serious now?" Marco stared at Ace, and with his familiarity with Ace, he concluded that the Ace in front of him was indeed Ace. But the problem is, why is Ace so determined to give 2 billion bellas to Logan? After thinking about it, Marco couldn't figure it out. Just don't think about it. Let Pop decide for himself. Whitebeard studied Ace carefully for a while. He took a deep breath, "Okay, son, I believe you." Then, he looked at Logan, "Boy Logan, do you charge first and then treat, or treat first and then charge? As for the money, it may take some time to raise." "What are you talking about? With your reputation as Whitebeard, I won't worry about your debt." Logan spread his hands, and then he looked like Belly, and said with a smile, "Then let's start the treatment right away." Whitebeard laughed, "Goo-hoo. I can do it anytime." "Okay. For the convenience of treatment, let me change the size for you first." Now that Whitebeard had agreed, Logan didn't think about money anymore, and just turned his palm over, and the small card of Clow appeared. Magical energy enveloped Whitebeard. At this moment, Whitebeard suddenly felt as if some external force enveloped him. The jet-black substance immediately appeared on his body surface. Only due to serious injuries and illnesses, Whitebeard is in poor condition at this time. Those armament haki are trembling violently, as if they are like candles that may go out at any time. Logan reminded, "Don't resist, or there will be no cure." Hearing Logan's words, Whitebeard immediately understood that Logan used the external force just now. Generally speaking, an emperor of the sea with the identity of the strongest man would definitely not let the power of outsiders act on him easily. In the previous battle at Marineford, he had already decided to die, but it was Logan's words that brought him back from the emotion of death. If Logan wants to harm him, then there is no need to discourage his will to sacrifice himself in the war, just watch Whitebeard go to die. With this in mind, Whitebeard removed armament haki. The magical energy formed a halo around the surface of Whitebeard's body. Then this layer of halo shrunk rapidly, making Whitebeard's height and size shrink along with it. In a blink of an eye, Whitebeard became a 1.8 meter tall existence. Puff! Looking at Whitebeard in front of him, Shanks didn't hold back immediately, and burst into laughter. "Ha ha ha ha! I didn't expect to have the opportunity to see you from such a perspective." Shanks walked up to Whitebeard, looked down slightly, and grinned. "You know, Shanks is 1.99 meters tall, and Whitebeard's real height is 6.66 meters. Every time I saw Whitebeard in the past, Shanks had to look up to Whitebeard. But now, looking at Whitebeard, who is a head shorter than him, he feels so much better. You boy! You can really take advantage." Whitebeard curled his lips. It was the first time for him to experience so many tall and strong from the perspective of a dwarf. Haha! This kind of experience will never come across once in a lifetime. Don't take it for nothing. Don't you think? Shanks smiled and deliberately adjusted his perspective to the best overlooking state. Afterwards, Logan called Kaya over. He urged, "I will take care of the front injuries, and you will take care of the back injuries." In theory, Logan can handle it all by himself. But although Kaya has learned medical ninjutsu, she has never practiced it. With Whitebeard in front of me, a clinical patient with suitable conditions, isn't it just suitable for Kaya to practice? Certainly. It was also for Logan to practice. Kaya nodded, tension and joy appearing on her little face. In the past, she felt like a waste on the Straw Hat pirate ship. Since Logan gave him a manga book, the number of medical method Kaya practiced, she seems to have found the goal of life at once. And, with the craft at hand, Kaya is finally confident. Otherwise, no matter how well everyone treats her, she will always feel inferior because of her incompetence. Whitebeard got into position and Logan and Kaya touch Whitebeard back and forth. The next moment, the energy brilliance of chakra emerged on the palms of Logan and Kaya at the same time. This is the healing jutsu. What is this? Devil Fruit's ability. Marco leaned over and asked cautiously, but then he shook his head immediately, no. If it's Devil Fruit's ability, only one of them can use it. Vista wondered, the problem is how to treat it. Is it enough to put your hands on the Pop's body? Lakyo said seriously, no. They didn't touch on Pop, there is a distance between Pop body and their arm. It really looks like Devil Fruit's ability. It looks like Wanokuni's ninjutsu. Izuo came over, as a warrior of Wano Kuni, he also had a lot of understanding of the ninja lineage. Finally someone who understands. Logan smiled and didn't explain much. If you want this kind of confusion, let the other party guess. Hearing this, Izuo's eyes lit up, is it really ninjutsu? Have you ever been to Wano Kuni? Logan smiled, Wano Kuni is not the only one who has ninjutsu. As the chakra energy in their hands penetrated into Whitebeard's wound, the cells in Whitebeard's wound immediately activated visibly with the naked eye. OMG! Look at Pop's wounds! My god! This is really an exaggeration. The speed and effect of this self-healing can at least catch up to 1/10 of Marco's Phoenix Fire. Absolutely. But Marco's Phoenix Fire only have a huge effect on himself, and the effect on others is less than 1/millionth of his own. The captains gathered around at once, watching in shock the rapid healing of Whitebeard's wound. Soon, within a few minutes, an unfathomable sword wound on Whitebeard's body was healed, as was a single hole in his back. Logan and Kaya each treat a wound and continued treatment. Where is ninjutsu learn? Izuo continued to ask. This is a secret. Logan pouted, not wanting to say anything more. Especially in the face of big bosses who wear women's clothing, they don't want to talk to each other. Time flies, 3 hours have passed. Whitebeard's injuries are finally fully healed. Gururara. Whitebeard clenched his fists tightly, and let out a deep drink with a red face. Really healed from the injury, you really have real skills. It's just that. Whitebeard's tone of voice was obviously lacking when he spoke. Marco quickly said, wait, Pop just healed from the damage, right? The serious illness that has tortured Pop for many years is still not healed. I can hear it from Pop's voice. Don't worry, I just checked Whitebeard when he was treating him. His condition is advanced pulmonary fibrosis, and 2/3 of his lungs are white. Such a situation, he can continue to live. I really admire his perseverance. Examining it himself, Logan determined the cause of Whitebeard. Then, how about treatment now? The captains all looked at Logan eagerly, they couldn't wait to have a healthy Pop. Logan shook his head, his lungs cannot be treated. For a lung that has been completely fibrotic, no matter how powerful the healing jutsu is, it will not be able to wake up the completely dead cells. Ah! Hey! You could have said just now that the treatment of injuries and patients will be included. Aren't you lying like this? When the commanders who were full of expectations suddenly heard such an answer, they immediately went into a riot. But Whitebeard grinned and said, calm down everyone. Then, he looked at Logan, boy, since the treatment did not meet expectations, then I will only pay you 10% off the treatment fee, is that okay? Hey, I said, what are you in a hurry for? Logan shrugged his shoulders and said teasingly, Whitebeard's lungs can't be cured, but they can be transplanted. I said that the disease can be cured, but can I treat you half and half? With regard to organ transplantation, pirate world is different from ordinary Earth. In this world, even animal limbs can be transplanted into human beings. Can it be transplanted? Good. Transplant mine. You stay and I will go. My body is similar to Pop's, transplant mine. I am the oldest, let me do it. When they heard that Pop's lungs were saved, the commanders were excited again. Looking at the situation of the commander, Logan pulled down with black lines all over his head. He said calmly, Whitebeard will definitely not agree to use your organs for transplantation. And, in this war, many brothers of your pirate team died in the battle, you can use their lungs transplanted entirely to Whitebeard. No way. Hearing this, Whitebeard refused without hesitation, and even his face became stern, I will never use the body parts of my sons to keep myself alive. This is absolutely impossible. It's actually easy to do. You just need to find a few damn pirates and use their organs for transplantation. Logan was not angry, but asked lightly, what I just don't understand is that the reason why you are angry is because it will destroy the remains of your sons, right? Certainly. Whitebeard said angrily. Logan smiled, if you think so, then I have to criticize you, you are such an idiot. Whitebeard was furious all of a sudden. But Logan has continued to say, I have seen my father be killed, and before he died, he transplanted his own organs to his son, so that his life can be continued on his son's body. I have also seen someone who died unexpectedly. Before he died, he asked his family to transplant his organs to those in need. In a sense, his life is also extended. And now, you have the opportunity to allow one of your dead sons to continue life on your body in this form. Instead of accepting it with pleasure, you even angrily refuse it. Whitebeard, you say, aren't you an idiot? When Logan said this, Whitebeard's face was blue and purple, extremely ugly. What Logan said, he is speechless. Pop. Logan is right. The brothers who died, who wouldn't want their own body organs to continue to live on Pop's body. That's right. If it were me, I would be happy to die underground. Using the organs of my dead body to transplant to my father, not only will my life continue in a special form, but it is also a great filial piety. Pop. Why use someone else's? Pop. The captains were also awakened by what Logan said, and they all persuaded Whitebeard impassionedly. Whitebeard pondered for a long time, then patted himself on the head heavily. Logan, you are right. I am a complete idiot. Obviously I can allow my son's life to continue in my body, but I still want to refuse. Listening to Whitebeard's confession, the commanders had tears in their eyes and joy in their hearts. After a few hours of surgery, a brand new Whitebeard came back to life. How's it going, Pop? Pop? The captains gathered around. Whitebeard stands up, fists pumping. Boom! This solid and powerful force. And that breath of air. There is no doubt that Whitebeard is completely cured. Good. Pop. Great. Pop's injuries are gone. Pop is healthy, I'm so happy. The commanders were excited and jubilant one by one. But Ace was not too busy to be happy about this, but looked at Logan, and asked cautiously, that manga, are you still giving it away? Speaking of. Ace has never spoken in such a low voice in his life. But there is no way. For him, Logan healed Whitebeard's injury, which is already a great kindness. He shouldn't have urged Logan in any way. But he is also afraid that Logan will forget about this matter. You know, he is a person who has benefited from mangas, and he understands how precious a manga of Logan is. So, in order not to let Pop miss such a precious manga, Ace had the cheek to remind Logan at this time. After finishing speaking, he bowed to Logan in shame. I'm very sorry, please don't mind my rudeness. I value your mangas too much. Chapter 219. The commanders of the Whitebeard pirates are all immersed in the excited atmosphere of Pop's complete recovery, and no one cares about the manga. But Ace didn't care about his father's physical condition first, but went to ask Logan for some mangas, and everyone was very puzzled. Hey, Ace, Pop injuries are all healed. What mangas do we still care about? Yet. Don't say it's a manga, even if it's 100 million bellas, you won't say anything unless you give it to us. That's right, Pop's health is the most important thing. But Ace ignored them at all, but looked at Logan sincerely. But in fact, he was actually too anxious. Logan promised to give Whitebeard a manga book as a gift. For anyone who knows the mangas, this looks like a huge boon to Whitebeard. But for Logan himself, he is also the one who benefits. Especially someone as powerful and talented as Whitebeard. No matter what manga he gets, he will definitely be able to train to a very strong level. And the stronger Whitebeard cultivates, the stronger the ability that Logan gets at the same time. So this kind of thing, Logan has no reason to break his promise. Ever since, Logan reached out his hand into his shirt. The mind communicated with the system space, and Logan randomly took out a manga. He was about to hand it to Ace, but I saw the title of the book is Redo of Healer. FK. With a shake of his little hand, Logan immediately took back the text manga. Then he stretched his hand into his bosom, pretending to search for it. Take out a manga again. Fate series, Heracles. It seems that it doesn't match Whitebeard's style. But if Whitebeard is allowed to read this manga, it seems that it is not impossible. At this time, Ace also noticed the wild and unruly Heracles on the cover, and his heart suddenly moved. FK. This guy looks fierce. Immediately, Ace looked at Logan eagerly. Looking at Ace's eyes that seemed to spark electric sparks, Logan couldn't help but gasp. Here you are. Logan gave the manga to Ace. Ace actually looks at him with that kind of eyes, it's so embarrassing. Thank you so much. Ace held the manga tightly in his hands as if touching a peerless treasure, and thanked Logan. Then he rushed to Whitebeard excitedly, Pop. You must put this manga away. Believe me, after reading this manga, you will never put it down. Whitebeard is completely confused by Ace. What's wrong, Ace? Could it be that he was tortured so much by Marine, that his brain has been damaged? But with so many people present, Whitebeard didn't want to make Ace lose face. Grrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr Since you have been emphasizing the importance of this manga, I must read it carefully. Whitebeard had never read mangas before. But since he promised Ace to read this manga, he will definitely not break his promise. The commander didn't pay much attention to the mangas. But Ace's emphasis on mangas caught the attention of red-haired Shanks. Don't look at the red-haired Shanks who usually looks like a fool, but his mind is very meticulous. He had communicated with Ace for a while before coming to the Moby Dick. What he can confirm is that Ace is absolutely normal. then a normal person does a very abnormal behavior. There must be a link here that has something special that is different from ordinary people. After thinking about it for a while, it is obvious that the problem is Logan's mangas. Whitebeard. Congratulations on having a perfectly healthy body. If this had happened before the Summit War, Sengoku might not have dared to start this war. Shanks came over to congratulate Whitebeard. Gururera. Whitebeard looked at Shanks and smiled knowingly, speaking of which, I still want to thank you very much. I'm just a little bit of icing on the cake when the war is over. The red-haired Shanks shook his head slightly and smiled, if you want to be grateful, you should thank the Straw Hat Pirates. If they hadn't participated in this war, I'm afraid when I came, the situation of the Whitebeard Pirates would have been very different. Although what Shanks said was not pleasant to hear, everyone present understood that the facts were indeed as he said. Those who have experienced this war and witnessed the fighting power of the Marineford all know how powerful it is. If only the Whitebeard Pirates face Marineford this time, the consequences will be disastrous. Everyone looked at Luffy and Logan. Luffy scratched his head, Ace is my brother, I will definitely save him. You don't need to look at me either. The captain's battle is the battle of our Straw Hat Pirates. There is no need to say thank you, just collect the 2 billion as soon as possible. What's the use of words of thanks? Money is the real thing. Ha 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 ha. Everyone in the Whitebeard Pirates laughed. Shanks said at this time, Logan, I just saw that you took out a manga and gave it to Whitebeard. Do you usually like to read mangas? Well, let's see. Logan pouted, and suddenly noticed something. Obviously Shanks is directing the topic to mangas. Wow! Shanks, Logan is the manga artist of our Straw Hat Pirates. The manga presented to Uncle Whitebeard just now was actually drawn by Logan himself. Noticing that Shanks seemed interested in mangas, Luffy immediately explained. In a sense, his relationship with Shanks is even as close as a mentor. Oh? You are so talented, and your job is actually a manga artist. Hearing this, Shanks showed a horrified look. Hey, manga artist? Isn't it true, can manga artists be this strong in battle? Okay. Our strength is not even as good as Mangakas, so what excuse do you have to say that you are not lazy in your training? Manga artists can train haki to that level. It seems that such a thing as talent really exists. When they heard that Logan's job is a mangaka, the commander of the Whitebeard Pirates present felt extremely ashamed. By the way, Logan, do you still have the manga you drew? I want to buy a copy. Seeing that the topic was ripe, Shanks stated his purpose. Whitebeard sneezed with a smile, isn't it, a guy like you actually likes to read mangas? Haha, that's not true. Didn't I take in an adopted daughter before? She likes to read mangas very much. It just so happens that Logan has mangas here, so I plan to buy 10 copies and take them back as a present for her. The redhead explained with a smile. Then, he looked at Logan, how is it? I wonder if Yuta-chan will be lucky enough to become your fan. Yuta? I think it's you, who wants to become my fan. From the behavior of the red hair, Logan has already judged it. This guy must have had doubts about Ace's behavior, so he wanted to find out about the manga. Only, Logan's mangas are not given randomly. To Whitebeard, on the one hand, because of the 2 billion treatment fee, it is nothing to give a manga book. On the other hand, Whitebeard is a man who only thinks about his family, and he will not bring any hindrance to the Straw Hat Pirates. If the Straw Hats Pirates need help in the future, with Whitebeard's character of reciprocating, he will definitely help without hesitation. As for the redhead Shanks, it's not that Logan thinks Shanks is a bad guy. It's just that when he crossed over, One Piece hadn't ended yet. Logan's spoilers can only spoil the plots he has seen. When Luffy finished the Wano Kuni chapter, the red-haired Shanks also wanted to compete for the big secret treasure. This is a bit strange. It stands to reason that if Shanks wants to know the secret of Raftel, he can tell him the original Roger Pirates. And according to Logan's guess, after the Roger Pirates came back from Raftel, they must have shared this secret with Shanks. So, after Luffy defeated Kaido, why is Shanks ready to take the Red Hair Pirates to Raftel? There are some things here that are actually not difficult to judge. Before Luffy showed up, Shanks didn't think about going to Raftel because he knew it would be useless if he went. So, on a darker note, maybe Shanks is using Luffy. Although the probability of this is relatively small, Logan has to guard against it. Blackening this kind of thing is not uncommon in mangas. Thinking of this, Logan smiled and said, since it is for your daughter, then I can't refuse. Hearing this, Shanks was secretly happy, and immediately said boldly, just say your price. Logan nodded, well, how about 2 billion belly? Puff. The smile on Shanks' face hadn't fully bloomed yet, and he was immediately shocked back. He widened his eyes, how much, how much? 2 billion a friendship price. Logan confirmed. Not only Shanks is stunned, but the Whitebeard pirates are also stunned. FK. A manga is worth 2 billion. No, not. Shanks looked stiff, turned his head to look at Whitebeard, then looked at Logan and said, you treated Whitebeard's injury just now, didn't you use mangas as a gift? You sell at 2 billion for a gift? Isn't that outrageous? Ah, that's right. Didn't I say it? Buy one get one free. Buy a treatment worth 2 billion and get a manga worth 2 billion as a gift, isn't there anything wrong with that? Logan spread his hands and looked at the crowd. Puff. What the hell? If you want to say that, there is nothing wrong with it. After working on it for a long time, it turns out that what you said about buying one and getting one free is really a gift of equal value. No, you're not kidding me, are you? Is it really worth 2 billion bellas for a manga? Shanks was a little dazed, wanting to make sure if Logan was joking. Of course I'm serious. If you don't believe me, ask Ace, is my manga worth 2 billion bellas? Logan said. Worth it. So worth it. Ace answered without hesitation. For Ace, let's say the value is far more than 2 billion. It can train the ability no less than that of Devil Fruit, and the ability will not be restricted by Sea Stone. If such an ability is sold on the black market, Ace afraid that the price will be auctioned to the sky. Shanks didn't know what to say. After a moment of silence, he murmured, is there no room? Or? Logan rubbed his chin, his eyes fell on Shanks' arm, I'll treat your arm, and I'll give you a buy one free. Logan is not thinking out of kindness, but because Shanks' arm is gone because of Luffy. This is a great kindness to Luffy. With Shanks' strength and connections, if he wants to transplant an arm, it's not a big problem. Prosthetics can also be produced by eating a devil fruit. But Shanks didn't do that. Logan afraid it's not that simple. As long as his left arm is gone, Luffy will always have a debt to Shanks. If Shanks' arm can be connected, then Luffy's debt to Shanks will not be so heavy. Not sure, but what if Shanks really turns out to be a major villain in the future? Logan also needs to make preparations in advance to open the shackles in Luffy's heart. Hearing Logan's opinion, Shanks asked hesitantly, how much is the treatment fee? Logan stretched out two finger, 2 billion. Chapter 220. Hearing this number, Shanks turned green. Although he is 4 emperors, for him, 2 billion is an astronomical figure. The Whitebeard pirates still have an advantage in numbers, everyone can raise some, 2 billion is not impossible. But Red Hair Pirates is taking the elite route. A constipated expression appeared on his face. After thinking about it, Shanks could only say with difficulty, I can't afford that much money. Logan smiled and said, it's okay. You can come to me for treatment after you raise the money. For Luffy's sake, you can jump in the queue if you come. Shanks was speechless. Still jumping in line? The treatment fee of 2 billion bellas needs to be lined up. Logan, Shanks has been taking good care of me, can the treatment be cheaper? Seeing Shanks in such a difficult situation, Luffy couldn't sit idly by. After all, in his eyes, Shanks is not only the leader who led him on the pirate road, but also his savior. Even Luffy, who is an idiot in terms of human relationships, knows that it is time to come out and give Shanks a favor. This was completely within Logan's expectations. He nodded, hey. Luffy, if you speak up, I will definitely consider it. How about it, let's subtract 10 million bellas from the total price. If Shanks is treated, he will give 1.99 billion bellas. Although the price is ridiculously high, you can't bargain too much. On the one hand, Whitebeard is here. If Shanks cuts too much, what about Whitebeard? Can we only give a little discount? Luffy doesn't have a strong concept of money, thinking that cutting from 20 to 19.9 means not cutting. What? Logan was stunned on purpose, and then said in a surprised tone, Luffy, you don't know, this treatment needs to consume lifespan. If it wasn't for earning some food expenses for Mary, how much would it cost? I don't even want money. He made up a random reason, not only blocking the way for Shanks and Luffy to continue bargaining, but also preventing Luffy from losing face. After all, he is going to spend my lifespan to heal. Luffy cut 10 million bellis at once. You Shanks can't say anything. Luffy's face changed when he heard that his lifespan was going to be consumed. Ah! I'm sorry, Logan, I didn't know that you were wasting your lifespan. Scratching his head guiltily, Luffy bargained again. Seeing this, Shanks knew that Luffy's way would not work. So he said, 2 billion belly is really too much, let me think about it. Shanks cares more about mangas than about healing his arms. No problem. Anyway, we should travel together for a while, and we will go to the new world together. Before we part ways, you have plenty of time to think about it. Logan didn't rush anything. Anyway, regarding the treatment of Shanks, he himself has an indifferent attitude. Okay. I'll think about it, Shanks said in a deep voice. After a while, Logan chatted with Whitebeard for a while, and then took Kaya back. As for Luffy, he'll be here with Ace for a while. Coming to the deck of the Going Merry, Logan saw an unexpected guest. In front of the deck, Usopp was happily chatting with a man with a sniper rifle. Usopp? Usopp's biological father. Logan. Seeing that Logan came back, Usopp waved excitedly to Logan, and then introduced, Logan, this is my father. I finally met my father. Usopp pulled Usopp and walked towards Logan. Hello, Logan greeted him politely. In fact, it was to save face for Usopp. If Usopp wasn't here, Logan wouldn't bother to talk to Usopp at all. This guy is probably the only guy in the Red Hair Pirates who can't be cleansed. Because of the phrase the pirate flag is calling. He resolutely followed the red-haired Shanks into the sea. As expected, they made a name for themselves. Once became one of the 4 emperors group that dominated the sea. This sounds like such a passionate and inspirational story. The man has passion in his heart, and goes forward bravely for the goal regardless of everything. There is nothing wrong with that. But the problem is, when a man becomes a father from a hot-blooded youth, his responsibilities become different. That is the duty to wife and children. It can be said, on the premise that his wife and children are very sensible, if a man can't even be responsible for his wife and children, then this man is definitely a complete garbage. If you're alone and you drop everything to chase your dreams, that's pretty bold. But if you have a wife and son, when your wife is sick and your son is only a child, you still pursue your dream. That's not called chasing dreams, that's called abandoning wives and children. Anyone who has seen One Piece knows. Usopp's mother can be said to have died because of Usopp. In the process of Usopp's growth, if it wasn't because he had an absolutely optimistic heart, he would never have grown up normally. If it were someone else, their mentality would have been distorted, and they would have turned into a madman who kills and wipes out corpses. Logan doesn't like Usopp at all. Mad, a disgrace among men. Such a young deputy captain really reminds me of when I was young. Usopp said with a smile in an elder tone. When you don't like a person, no matter how you look at it, you won't be pleasing to the eye. Usopp, talk to your dad about your upbringing. I just finished treating Whitebeard, it's too exhausting, I need to go to rest now. What Logan said was quite polite. After all, Usopp's face and mood still have to be considered. Ah. Then go and rest. Hearing this, Usopp nodded quickly. Kaya, this is my father. Usopp looked at Kaya again and announced excitedly. For him, his father is his role model. Kaya. Usopp was taken aback, and asked in surprise, could it be Miss Terry's daughter? Although it has been a long time since Usopp left Syrup Village, the name of the lady from the richest family in the village can still be remembered. Usopp excitedly said, that's right. It's Kaya. I didn't expect that a young lady like you would become a pirate, your father must be very angry, haha, Usopp said jokingly. Both my father and my mother have passed away for more than 3 years. Kaya's emotions suddenly became sad, and then she said politely, I also participated in Whitebeard's treatment just now, so I went to rest first. Kaya's relationship with Usopp has been progressing. At first Kaya did think about pursuing Logan, but after so many months spent with Nami and Logan, Kaya give up and support Nami all the ways since she now think Nami as her older sister. Moreover, she has been staying at the ship most of the time other people were practicing, and she had nothing to do. So to spend time she either talk with Nami, Logan, or Usopp. When with Usopp, Kaya always happy hearing all of Usopp adventure in the manga, and after all this time they becoming more and more close to each other. She learned about Usopp from Logan. In connection with Usopp's hard growing up, Kaya also hates Usopp very much. Compared to his parents, Usopp really sucks. He abandoned his wife and son while they are on their worst day. On the other side, Logan entered the cabin and rested on the bed. He has to think about his next itinerary. Now that Luffy's Joy Boy's identity is exposed, Logan doesn't think that the world government will sit idly by. Logan also wants to see what happens when Luffy arrives at Raftel as Joy Boy.
Thanks for listening.